Not much, child. Oh my gosh, I need another day off. Aside from that, not too much is going on. Actually, I've had a pretty decent day, so I probably shouldn't be complaining. What's
Well,
up
that
with you?
girl, the same thing. Wishing I had another day off, but duty calls, honey. And my son just got back this week,
Oh
so
yeah,
kind of getting back into mommy mode because he was gone over the holidays. So,
yeah.
child, I had a holiday too.
I bet you did. I swear though,
Yes.
I think it takes everybody a few weeks to kind of get back into the swing of things after the holidays because we got the back to back holidays. So I'm probably
Right.
just kind of still pushing through.
Right, right, right. And so getting back into mommy mode. And then, when kids go off with their fathers for a few weeks,
Mhm.
depending on how much time the man spends with the child, they kind of let the kids do whatever. And so then mommy's left to pick up the pieces and to whip them back into shape. And
Oh yeah.
then it was the holiday. So I'm pretty sure that he was up late,
Hmm.
just showing out.
Yep.
So
Hmm.
just kind of whipping him back into shape and readjusting to mommy mode, so to speak. So always a fun thing, fun, fun, fun.
I know how that is. Absolutely.
Yeah, but shout out to my baby. He made the honor roll, so that's always exciting.
That's dope. Really, really dope.
Yeah, honey. So that's about it. There's nothing too much going on. Just been kind of cruising around these YouTube streets, honey, and it's
Hmm.
been some interesting happenings over the last few days. So it's
Oh
just been
God.
pretty interesting.
And you know what? I'm so out of the loop because with my work schedule and working two jobs and handling all types of things in my personal life, I don't have as much time to be involved in or be abreast of what's going on YouTube. I will like peek in here and there, and whenever I can, if I catch somebody live, I'll jump in and make sure I try to give people views and likes and listen for a little bit. But child, I'm like so out of the loop.
Well, this is usually the time I kind of go into like a hibernation mode.
Oh, is it?
Um, yeah, because I'm usually in the house during the winter time, but the summer, honey, they have to
Ah.
when they can. So this is kind of the time I really get to tune in and see what's really what. But
Mhm.
summertime, honey, I got to go. I got
Okay, you out in them streets in the summer then, huh?
somebody keeps me busy, child.
Oh, okay, 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 okay. So not out in the streets. You just ain't sitting in the house.
No, not on this YouTube stuff. Not like that during the summer. I have a life, honey.
I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. But and like we make time for different things or whatever that interest us because like I spend a lot of time in my car, and that's typically when I can like kind of chime in and listen and stuff. But
Yeah.
I had also started listening to vloggers and other segments of YouTube, so I'll be trying to listen to their stuff, and I just try to share the wealth and listen where I can, and just like I said, listen in for a few minutes and give support, but not I don't
Are you still there? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. She'll probably have to come out and go back in. But what's going on, Chad? How y'all doing? How was y'all's weekend? We got DJ Mozzie Field, Naima, and my love in the chat so far. What's up, Ray Alexander? Hey, SW1. Hey, Leo Anthony. Hey, Third Ward Colombian. How y'all doing? Y'all doing good? Okay, she's got to come out and come back in. So we'll go back to the comments. Okay, Ray Alexander, you said you're looking forward to this topic. Yeah, we had gone in another direction initially, but we had thought about this topic and decided to roll with this. Uh-oh, what's
Sorry
going
about
on
that.
with
I
my
got a
mouth?
phone
There
call.
she goes.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good now. You're
Okay.
good.
I got a phone call, but I declined it and I popped back on the screen, but I guess you couldn't hear me. I was trying to talk, but I guess you couldn't hear me.
Yeah.
But what
Okay.
were you saying about the topic?
I was saying that we had initially we had another topic that we were going to go into, but we ended up deciding on this one. And I think we kind of feel that this one will encompass the previous topic. So we just decided to say, hey, let's just try to go into this one and we'll go from there.
Absolutely, that's correct. So you want to go ahead and get into it?
Yes, 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 yes. So
Well, absolutely. Go ahead.
um, the topic is, are Black men really honest about the type of women that they prefer?
Mm-hmm.
And when I was thinking about this, I had spoke to one of my homegirls, and she and I were really cool from Facebook. And I invited her to listen to one of the topics. And as much as I talk shit about being a pick me, um, I really wouldn't consider myself a pick me. And
Mm-hmm.
so when I was talking to her and she had listened to one of our broadcasts, she was like, "Well, sissy, you do come across as a pick me a little bit." And she was like, she and I would have conversations about what we thought men would prefer and the type of men that we see, excuse me, the type of women that we see these men choose. And so um, she had alluded to SKC and SKC's wife being on our well, her speaking in our on our chat and stuff. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and she was like, "Well, home concrete really handled it," but she was like, "Sissy, you just kind of let her run through." And so, I thought about that and I was like, well, a lot of times what I've noticed in these spaces, people from certain areas don't like to come to other certain areas, or when they do, it's always an argument and always a fight. And so I was kind of looking at it like, um, in order to have a better understanding of each other, we have to allow each other to be heard and see things from their perspective, and also allow our own perspectives to be seen. And so that's kind of why I'm open to a lot of conversations with different people. So that was what it was for me. What about you? What do you think of that?
Well, to be completely honest, like the situation with SKC and his wife, I was much more open than I would have been even a year ago, to even like, a year ago when he would, first of all, I wouldn't have wanted to share a panel with him a year ago. And I would have lost my cool had he put his woman on the phone or his wife on the phone. So like I was much more open and much more receptive. I do understand where you're coming from regarding wanting people to be heard, but I feel like I do want people to be heard. However, and this is something that I notice with like people in the chat and people questioning my ideologies, I want to say that I don't see anything wrong with people having a firm set of beliefs that they hold fast to, that they're unmoved when they hear other people's opinions. And that's how I feel about dating outside of the race. And as far as his wife goes, I don't personally have anything against her. I don't rock with people, outside of my core group. However, I don't personally have anything against her. My issue is with our men. However, as I said on that panel, I love all Black people. Don't get it twisted. But I do take issue with, the dating and mating outside of your race. And My stance on that is like not up for debate. It will not be shaken. It will not, like, there's nothing anybody can say that's going to make me change my opinion about that.
Right.
So, that's just my stance on it. But I felt like I was, kind of open, like I was really, was kind of teasing. It was funny. I took it all in stride and I didn't take any real offense to what he was doing. I mean, I know he a clown. He do that type of stuff. So I wasn't surprised by his antics, but I didn't, I don't feel like I reacted negatively towards it. I just, it is what it is regarding that. I expect that type of stuff from him.
Right, right, right. And then I thought about it too. I kind of be like, if you let people talk and let them get what they want to say out, and you try to understand it from your perspective and we understand it from their perspective, then we can begin to really have conversations and really get down to some of the core issues. And
Hmm.
then if it was, even though I don't feel like he was being malicious,
No,
I
no, no, no.
but I was thinking like, okay, and even if it was on something malicious, if you pay credence to what's malicious, you're still going to end up missing having the conversations that need to be had, because you're trying to check people for what they like, who they date, and their choices, and this, that, and the third, and you're still not going to get anywhere. So that was
So, and I do want to say, I don't think that there was any malicious intent behind his actions, but I
right,
do think that there can be that message can be dangerous. That one group is better than our core group. And me personally, I never believe in checking anyone personally for their own personal mating choices. But like I said, I stand firm in my belief that we belong together. So I don't
right,
care what, like I'm not gonna tell you, oh, you don't go date her and you shouldn't date her. I don't really care who you laying down with. I mean, you've made that choice. I'm not going to chastise you about that, but I still feel the way that I feel about it. But I don't, that's you. That's, I, whoever you share a bed with, you've already made that choice. In addition, I feel like stay over there. Don't come back. She felt like she was doing something and, oh, well, thanks for, whatever she said, whatever little slick comment she said. But sis, you're doing us a favor. I mean, he's like, he's a mess. The type of stuff he do. But and I tease him too, even though I strongly disagree with a lot of stuff that he says. And I like his message. He was joking and playing, but I've heard him say um, some pretty some things that could be deemed as harmful to us as a people. And like a lot of the negative things that he says about us as a race, and he's always just trying to find ways to down us. And, oh, I went to this science fair and I didn't see one black family in the place, and he just goes out of his way to point out anything that could be deemed negative against black people. So, but whatever.
concrete, that they'll definitely say that. I went over here and I didn't see one black person. Like, well, damn.
I'm telling you, but then he'll be like, but I went to the Ponderosa and there was a fight and it was a whole huge herd of black water buffalo. They just do that. I mean, that's his shtick. So whatever.
Or them talking about how they go out to dinner and
Mhm.
they didn't see any black people.
I'm telling you. Oh, I went to a concert and they'll pick the blackest place they can and try to act like there weren't any representations of black family in the place. And that's just not what I see personally. But I don't, put too much stock in what he says, because I know he is just, a buffoon.
So do you think they do? So do you think they do a lot of stuff trying to get our attention in that sense?
I think what I think is they will say any outlandish BS for likes and giggles. I think that they're trying to appeal to the crowd, like, and generally the crowd in the manosphere is males who are claim that they're sick and tired of black women and their mess, so they will say anything to get the crowd going.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sometimes it does seem like it's a little bit of a ploy, to garner
Hmm.
views, because we coming to defend our shit. Like, look,
Hmm.
goddamn it, we ain't just this way. Shit.
And that's like I can have honest conversations regarding our fuckery and regarding the fact that we need to be held or we need to be accountable for our actions. But what I can't do is the whole pile on thing. Like everybody just dogging out black women, and everybody's had horrible experience with every black woman they've ever come into contact with, and they don't believe there's a feminine black woman left in the world. And I just like, okay, come on now, y'all going too far. That's when I come in and start defending. If we could have honest conversations and say, yeah, some black women with some messed up attitudes, but you know what? There are some good sisters out here too. I'm like, you know what? You are absolutely right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, what do you think of the topic today?
Sis, this topic though, like I think that the topic is very fitting for what a lot of what I see in this space. I don't know that black men are being honest about the type of women that they prefer. I like, you want to chastise women for being sluts, for embodying these no morals, and these new ideologies that Meg the Stallion and Cardi B sing about. However, these are the type of women that appear to be being wifed up. Like how can I teach, young black women that doing these types of things are absolutely horrible and they're deplorable. Being ratchet and having ratchet behavior is, not a good thing. But we have flocks of men that are frequenting strip clubs and doing different things like that. So I think that their actions don't necessarily align with their words.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because men say they prefer one thing, but they seem to lust after a certain, they lust. Now, maybe who they, well, because initially I was gonna say, okay, well, they're not marrying the Instagram types in droves,
Hmm.
but then at the same token,
They ain't marrying the wholesome women in droves either, though.
yeah, that's true. That's very, very true. That's
You
very,
know.
very true. So, what are some types of women that would you say are preferred, but they don't really talk about?
Well, I'm gonna say, okay, I'll touch on that, and I also want to say, black men are making certain to hold our feet to the fire regarding our choices, and a primary, one of the main ones would be the choice to choose a person that you end up, not marrying, or who you're not married to, that you have a child with, and they should be held to the fire regarding their choices too. Like they make screwed up choices too. Like they're
Ooh.
not necessarily choosing the right type of women either. And I'm sorry, what was your question? Because I wanted to address that too.
I was saying, like, when they say certain types of women that they don't prefer, but then we see them doing or dating and marrying the exact opposite, what types of women would you say that those were?
I would say the first thing that comes to mind when I think about that would be um, these women who say, and I say this because I know a few personally, they are sexual, they're sexually uninhibited, but they say they're free spirits. So men talk about women sleeping with multiple men and being down for whatever, and being too easy and things of that nature. But I see some of these same types of women who have their pick of men, who men don't mind spending their money on, don't mind tricking on, or don't mind dating them if if they're single with children and things of that nature. And that's the other one. Even men who say, "Oh, you shouldn't date single mothers." I think that there's a caveat to that. You shouldn't date unattractive single mothers, or you shouldn't date overweight single mothers. But if you a single mother and you got a fatty, and or you're desirable, then they don't care about your baggage. You know.
That's very, very true. That's very, very true. Then, because I was thinking about it too. They say they don't like hoes. They say they don't like big women. They say they
Hmm.
don't like single mothers.
Hmm.
Um, I actually think that that is all some BS in a certain sense because I have seen literally examples of these same type of women that they say they don't prefer getting married,
Hmm.
getting tricked on, getting nice things. They're buying cars. They're doing a whole lot that this sector seems to preach against, and so I
Hmm.
found that to be very interesting because I'm like, y'all say y'all don't prefer these things, but we see exactly who y'all go after, but then they'll come back and say, okay, well, dick and attention is very, very different than me actually marrying a woman and making a woman my wife. And so, what do you think about that?
Personally, I think that black men aren't marrying like that, and it's not just black men. Like we continue to, I mean, like that's who we're concerned with. But marriage has declined across the board, so they're not really marrying like that to that degree. So I like even if we just say they're getting in relationships with and or willing to splurge their resources on and or so I think that if these women, if that's what they desired or if that was the standard that they set forth, that only way that I'm going to get with you is if you marry me, then they would do it. I think that people, a lot of women don't necessarily care that much about marriage and or they're not they're not pushing that agenda in today's time. So I, even though they're not marrying them, I think that it's more than penis and attention. I
Okay.
think they like to downplay it and make it sound like that's all it is.
So you think it's more than just penis and attention and lust?
Mhm. Yeah, I think that yeah, it's more than that. It's and what I think is happening is a lot of what these men are complaining about, they are complaining about a certain segment. So a certain segment that has rejected them, like maybe they were trying to date out of their league, and
Ooh.
you know as a result they were rejected, and they want to take that out on all black women. Or let's say they were attracted to a certain woman, and she was fine and all the other guys were attracted to her too, so she turned, said, I'm not even going to say incel, but said guy down, and later on she became a baby mama, and then she was willing to entertain him. I think that they're so upset about her turning them down, that they're looking at anything that they can consider a flaw of hers and applying it to like the whole group and saying, oh, these baby mamas just wanna, which I think that it's just the certain type of chick that you were attracted to, that you prefer, that passed you over, happens to be a baby mama. So now they have this angst towards all women that are baby mamas.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think that the submissiveness of a woman, does the submissiveness of a woman um, go into that? Like, do you feel that they would turn down a submissive woman no matter, like, if a woman is a baby mama, but she's very submissive, she's willing to listen, she's willing to cooperate? Do you think they turn down those kinds of women?
Well, to be completely honest, I think that those type of women, okay, so I'm just gonna say like those type of women are maybe more average looking
Mhm.
than a top tier woman. So I think that they would. Okay, so there's a couple things that I think about that. So I think that they would. So if they had an attractive woman that was beautiful, she's a baby mama, but she's submissive, would they still date her even though she has, children from and she wasn't married? And I think that yes, they would. But I also think that a lot of these men, and maybe, and I'm assuming that they don't behave in the same manner in which they do online in their real lives, because I think that they would be repulsive. I think that women would be repulsed by their behavior and would be like extremely turned off and couldn't get past their horrible character to even see if they would be interested in them in any of, romantically.
Okay. So would you say that the guys in this space, it's kind of a farce? Um, because I think about what I kind of how I believe it is. Guys say one thing on the internet,
Hmm.
guys do another thing in person. Because I'm sure if a bad chick was everything that they looked for in a woman, she was submissive, she was pretty,
Hmm.
um, she was willing to cooperate, but she was a single mother, I think they'd still go. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah. Oh yeah, I do too.
But
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. I said the same, essentially the same thing. If she was attractive, but she has children, and yeah, they would still definitely date her if she, yeah, absolutely.
yeah, I was gonna also say, they talk a lot about submission and cooperation,
Hmm.
but I kind of look at the Latinas, right?
Hmm.
And so when they talk about the attitudes, and well, I would say that the attitudes and submission and cooperation are different. But when they say Black women have attitudes, but we're not submissive,
Hmm.
okay. Do you think that there's a difference? Like, Latinas can have an attitude, but do you think that they're more submissive?
Yes, I think that Latinas are like, I think that it's cultural for Latinas to, um, fix their man's plate, make sure his laundry is clean, do all the domestic things. But I think their culture is completely different than ours. I think they're raised to do those things, so that's almost like second nature. They may be fussing at you and doing their, thing, but they're still going to do all of the things, around the house that need to be done. Whereas, it may be different for us. So yeah, I do think that that's a key point.
Okay. And
But
what do you
go ahead.
go ahead? Okay. I was going to ask, okay, even with bigger women, a lot of men talk about how they don't date overweight women, they hate obese women.
Hmm.
Um, but if a woman has a nice hip to ass ratio, they're
Yep.
definitely going. And so
Yeah.
she can be obese, she can be a big girl, but if she has a nice hip to ass ratio,
Hmm.
a lot of those standards go out the window. But I honestly don't feel like they're being honest about that.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I've personally seen on Obsidian's channel where, they talk about, water buffalo and all these different names that they give, obese women. And they'll post pictures of women who are clearly, have a higher than healthy BMI, but they're shapely. So I think, yeah, absolutely, that does make a difference. And I do think that, yeah, we men are stunting on the internet. I think that it's plausible that they are, you know they're stunting on the internet. um and I think that, in their real lives, it's I would be shocked to see if, and I'm thinking of the extreme examples, Keith and some of the others who are just extremely extreme. Even some of the stuff that Obsidian says, like, I can't believe that you would say something like that. One, in front of your partner, two, to your partner, or to women that claim that you love and respect. So I think a lot of it is for show.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, like, if these women were to approach men and was nice or whatever, I feel like they would actually take the time out to consider. But then another thing that kind of makes me worry too. In one sense, I
Mhm.
feel like that. Then in another sense, with certain movements growing, like with the SYSBM growing, with the
Mhm.
MGTOW sector of men growing, with those types of men and those type of sectors that are growing, um, do you think that the threat of them leaving black women is a real thing? Do you really think that they're going to go anywhere?
I do think that the threat is a real thing, but I don't think most black women think that it's a real thing. And I do want to just give this really quick example. And I know that this is anecdotal, but I'm going to give it anyways because on this channel we talk about our personal experiences. That's what most of us glean from, and we don't just talk about things on a macroscopic level. So I have a friend who is a single mother,
Hmm.
and she has one child, and she her child was born out of wedlock, and she is um technically she's plus size, but she's extremely shapely, smaller waist, like really deep arch in her back and like crazy big booty. And she's red and she's a beautiful girl. She and a lot of the only kind of men that she dates are what would be like men that you would see in this sector. She likes very intelligent, like nerdy guys. And she does not cook. She is not clean. She's like all the things that men say they would not date. And she's open about the fact, like she'll date like nerdy guys, but she's like not leading them on, and they still just want to be in her presence, want to be around her, want to spend their money on her and things of that nature. So, and I know she's not the only woman like that out there. So I do think that if you are attractive, if you are, desirous, if you, are shapely, and, I think that they will make a lot of concessions about all of your baggage. I just wanted to say that. I think they'll make concessions.
I absolutely agree because I kind of feel, well, no, I'm not, and it's not even kind of, I feel like the more attractive a woman is, the more she's able to get away with. And so I feel like a lot of men in this sector deny that. Um, the woman can have an attitude, she can be loud, she can be
Yeah, it's called
bratty.
pretty girl privilege, is what it's called. Yeah.
Right, right,
That's
right,
a
absolutely.
benefit of pretty girl privilege. You can, get away with a lot more. You can do certain things that you wouldn't otherwise be able to. And even how like the primary complaint is the black woman's attitude. However, they are highlighting Latinas as a second, as a choice over black women, and dismissing the fact that they have an attitude because of whatever other thing that they're attracted to about them. Okay, they're more domestic. You know what I mean? I wouldn't necessarily could say that they're more feminine. Domestication is domestic skills are a trait of femininity, but I just don't like to want to make a blanket statement like that. But I think that if you're what they consider to be attractive, then your bad traits don't matter as much.
Mm, mm. Yeah, I don't really feel like they matter as much. Um, a lot of our guys, like I said, it's one thing to say. I do feel like SYSBM, MGTOW, and those
Hmm.
kind of guys, I do feel like that is a plausible threat.
Hmm.
I'm kind of curious to see how it's going to turn out in the end, but
I
with
think that we've never had a time in my life where I've never had a time in my life, and if there has been a time I wasn't aware of it, where men were so vocal about their
yeah.
um, disdain for black women, about their disappointment in black women. And not only are they talking about that, because I think, yeah, vocalize those things, but they are highlighting how other black men, black boys, young black males that are being brought up should consider other choices. And I think that is something that we should be pay a close attention to, because the numbers are already increasing. By numbers, I mean the men that are dating outside of the race, men that are marrying outside of the race, and they're starting movements surrounding these very ideas when they were doing the same things. They were already dating outside of the race before there was ever movements and at national on a national level, international level, because we talk to people, in the UK and Africa and all different types of places where there's like mass movements of black males that are saying, "Hey, enough is enough. We need to consider other options." And I don't want to call what they're doing dangerous, but it can have a dangerous effect on the community as we've known it.
Hmm. When I was talking to my homegirl and we were talking about SYSBM, and we talked about well, it was basically SYSBM. Um, she alluded to a point to say that these men wanted to date interracially anyway, but they wanted to put a name on it. They wanted it to be a
Mhm.
bigger movement with it. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't want to. Okay, so last week in our topic, I said that in part, I was partly being facetious. I do think that a, there's a number of black men who just aren't attracted to black women, and I don't like to pull this card, but I do think that it's tied to their own personal experiences, even those with the women that they were raised by, or maybe they were abandoned and weren't raised by the person who birthed them. But I think that part of it is tied to that, but part of it may be tied to some other things too. I do think that there's a certain segment of the population, but I don't think that that's all black men. And I think that it's unfair for us to kind of label them with that, because if we do that, then like we're basically saying they don't have legitimate gripes about the stuff that they're complaining about. And I do think that they have
They
legitimate
actually do.
gripes. I
Right.
you know
Right. They do. They really do.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. We're
So
getting ready
okay,
to
let me
open
ask
up.
you a question. Let me ask you a question, Danny.
Okay.
So being that we agree that they have legitimate gripes, what would be a different or better or another way in which they could um, get the attention of black women in order for changes to be made, aside from leaving the race?
Mm. Um, to be honest with you, I've thought about this, and I've actually thought about this for a while now. When I started to notice the movements happening, and initially, I didn't want to take what they were saying seriously because I know the type of woman I am. But then again, I am a single mother,
Mhm.
so that does put a certain strike against me within their sector, right? Um, but like I said, I thought about this a lot. There has to be a way for them to demand their respect.
Mhm.
Uh, but if you're in a house with a woman and this woman is not respecting you, and every type of woman that you approach doesn't have a certain type of respect for you, doesn't cater to you, isn't really on your program, then I wouldn't tell you to stay in that relationship. Just like I wouldn't tell any woman to stay in an abusive relationship or in a hostile environment as far as her relationship is concerned. So then I thought about the solution. Okay. So what would I tell? Uh, a respect thing goes a long way. And if they're not feeling like they're getting the respect from the women, their own women, and they see that these men, that other races of men are seemingly getting the respect that they would want from their women, then my whole thing is if you feel like you can't get what you want to out of your own race of women, do what you have to do. But the caveat to that, you if you didn't get I'm not even going to say if you didn't get the respect from our women, that these women are going to respect you, but that is a thing to worry about, because w- all women can smell a certain we can smell insecurity. We know when you're awkward. We know when you're not manly. We know if you're not a dominant male. And I don't feel like a lot of men pay credence to the dominant male. Most women want a man that dominates in a certain sense. I'm not talking about abused, but I feel like most women want to be able to submit to their men. But with the case of Black women, um, I'm not going to necessarily say we don't want to submit, but we have to be able to trust to submit. And with a lot of us being hurt and disgruntled, we don't trust the men to submit. So it's going to be a little competition when it comes down to it. So I don't really know that there's a solution. I feel like I don't know if there's another solution besides the men leaving to get their respect. I don't know if there's another solution. What do you think about that?
Well, I asked the question and I had not given it much thought myself, but I do want to say this. I This is something I have to think about. I don't want to just throw an answer out there. Possibly before the show ends, I'll be able to formulate an answer. But one thing I do want to say is one thing that I know is that I don't think that the answer is begging for a seat at someone else's table. I don't think that leaving your community for someone else's community is the answer. I think, and I have to, like I said, I'm going to think about it some more, but I think that the answer should be you build it and you make them come to you. You build your community. You build, like, I would prefer men saying, I would prefer men doing what what's the guy that's on he always has some outlandish stuff to say, and he's Ramil. I would prefer that men do what Ramil has suggested and say, we are going to focus on building for 10 years. We are not messing with the sisters. We are focusing on, the things that men need to focus on in order to. But my reasoning would be for them to build up their community, focus on themselves, to focus on self improvement. And I know that they have needs and their needs will need to be met, but I think that that's a better option than saying, I'm going to go to another community because my community is failing. To be completely honest, and I know this is way off topic, but I agree with certain things that Trump um, I agree with Trump's stance on certain things, and part of his stance on immigration, and I'm not going to go into what part, but I think for me, I don't believe that you leave your community, you forsake your community in order to go where you think it's better. I think you stand up, you fight the government, you fight whatever powers may be, so that in order for your community to be repaired, or in order for your community to be where it needs to be, as opposed to risking your life going somewhere that you know nothing about, to possibly worse conditions, and in order, because you think things might potentially be better over there. To me, I'm a firm believer in for what fighting for your community to be restored, and that's kind of the stance that's kind of my thinking regarding this topic, that men should, if that means forsake Black women for 5 years, 10 years, while they're building and focusing and getting themselves together and getting themselves right. And that does not mean, I understand that that does not mean once they get themselves together and they've built up their community in the way in which they feel it should be, that they're going to open the floodgates and let all Black women in.
That's
I
true.
understand that. And that's a risk that would have to be taken. I would hope that they would be like, okay, well, the quality sisters who was holding it down, and or even if they said, we're not, we're going to date non-ADOS Black women or whatever it might be. I just don't think that it should be going and asking for a seat at someone else's table, personally.
Okay, but now they would say the argument is we're not going to ask for a seat at someone else's table per se. We're going to build with non-ADOS women. And so, being that we're still, a lot of them say they're still looking for Black women, but these Black women are going to be from different areas, they're going to be from other countries and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot, but they're still saying that they're going to build with non-ADOS women.
Mhm.
um, but they would still be building a community. These
Um,
communities would still be
where are you
Black.
gonna take those non-ADOS women? You don't have a community. If you're saying screw the Black community, I'm leaving the Black community. Where are you going to? You go find someone from another country and you bring them to what community? Your focus should be to build the community, and then you bring in your women.
Well, from what I've been hearing, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, they're saying that they can build, they're building, but they're going to build with these non-ADOS women. They're starting their own communities. They're going to have babies. They're going to build with
I think that
like-minded.
I think that that is just I think that that's them being idealistic. I mean, I would like to see where just even one of these thriving communities exists today in the U.S. As an example, if they're doing it currently, they should be able to point out where one is. There's a thriving community over here where we're doing it. Yeah, and I just think that that's just a lot of idealism. But I not I can't knock them for saying, let me tell you something. Men in this space are a lot of times they have tunnel vision, and they are extremely judgmental. They categorize everybody, and you're in this category and you're in this category. I'm gonna say something. My fiance is he has been for majority of his life a conscious Black man, right? He's a conscious Black man who's tired of Black women's bullshit. He is tired, and I hear him gripe and complain. Like, even conscious brothers are saying sisters are screwing up, and they tired, and they understand. And he has friends who have married Ghanaian women, and like, conscious men are tired of sisters. They saying sisters need to get themselves together and get their stuff together. Not all of them are caping for Black women and saying, "Oh, but the Black woman is God, no matter what she does, despite all her flaws." They tired too. And if you can see conscious men, especially from what we know, how we've defined conscious men in our community, and the idea that we have of conscious Black men and how they uphold Black women and their BS. When you start seeing them getting tired, I mean, sis, we gotta check ourselves. We gotta do better. You know what I mean? So I don't have an issue with men saying we tired, and as a result, we're gonna do something else. I just don't think that something else should be, going to another community asking for a seat at the table or hoping to get a seat at the table. And when I say that, I'm not necessarily talking about those that are marrying the non-ADOS Black women, because in my mind, if you're marrying a non-ADOS Black woman and you bringing her here, you're more than likely you're going to be bringing her to a Black community.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. So, but now to their defense, if it's coming from all sectors of men, if it's coming from the educated lanes, if it's coming from the conscious community as well, that our women are the problem,
Mm-hmm.
and that these men do prefer feminine women, um, I think that they'll accept a feminine woman over. Um, do you think that they'll accept a less attractive feminine woman over a pretty bitch?
Oh, that's a good question. That is a good question. And the other part that I would add to that, would you accept a feminine woman who has everything else that you want, but she either has a child, is either overweight, is less attractive than, the eights or nines, like those things, those are real questions that should be asked. And that does not mean that there's an expectation that men should have to sacrifice anything that they want, but in reality, most of the time we all do, to some degree. But some certain things are non-negotiable for people. So if a man is saying, "Yeah, I'm willing to sacrifice some. She don't got to be an 8, but I'll take a 6.5. But she can't have no kids. Whatever it is." But what are you willing to give up to get what you want, or are you not willing to give up anything and just saying, "I'm gonna go over there and find the best possible option, but over there"?
Yeah, because I'm kind of seeing, like I said, the more attractive a woman is, the bitchier she can be.
Mhm.
Um, but the fours, five, and sixes tend to be more humble, in my opinion, and
Mm,
uh they do tend to. I'm not gonna say that they're more feminine or less feminine because I think feminine kind of comes in all shapes, sizes, whatever.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. But I'm getting
But
ready
you
to.
know what? And I'll let you open. I know you're ready to open, and I am too. I do have to say this. I consider myself to be maybe slightly above average looking woman. But I've seen and I hear men in these spaces. I've heard men have conversations where they are basically admitting that they're willing to accept, you know, less than what they desire if the woman is attractive enough. Like, you know, excuse me, that isn't even we're not stretching by saying that. Like, if you listen to some of the conversations and even like how the men are fawning over, maybe if we're talking about an Amber Rose, I hear Amber Rose given as an example for a lot of stuff in this space, and I'm looking like, really? Excuse me, I'm sorry, my mouth is dry, but I also hear Kim Kardashian being given, and she has some of the same traits that these men will frown upon when it comes to sisters. Like, if you are appealing to them, they're willing to look past a lot of other stuff. And it's just, it is what it is. But go ahead and open it up.
Okay, well, we have our lovely, excuse me, not lovely because he's not a lovely man, but
Oh, God. Not the Roger report.
we have the excellent Roger Report on, who has the second best show on YouTube. I need to mod Roger up so
Say
he can
that.
drop his link. But Roger, what's going on, man?
Uh, man, interesting. That's all I say. Interesting. Um,
Oh man, Roger.
hold on for me one more. Give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute.
Okay. So then we'll go to Leo Anthony. What's up, Leo?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Yes, we
you.
can.
Oh, hey, what's up? Yeah, I was, yeah, I was kind of all over the place, so I'm not
Yeah,
sure,
we were.
where y'all want me to start.
Okay. Start with, do you think that black men are honest about the type of women that they prefer? So they say they don't prefer overweight women. They don't prefer single mothers. They don't like hoes. But in our community, we still see these types of women getting married. Now I'm in Mississippi, so we're the fattest state in the nation. It's a lot of big girls down here that's married, honey. Married. I know a lot of hoes that got married. Um, what do you think about that?
Um, I think sometimes women confuse like the women that guys just want to sleep with and have fun with the women that the guy actually want to be with. I think because I talked with this with my homegirls, and they just believe reality TV that all dudes want these big booty stripper hoes and will not pay no attention to like a feminine, wholesome, good woman. I mean, you do have some guys who want to be with hoes, but what I try to tell it is pay attention. Um, the guy who wants to be with hoes, that's a guy who just wants a trophy wife. That's a guy who probably couldn't get an attractive woman before, and he finally got one, and he's duped now. But then you have some guys who really just want like an average woman who's like somewhat attractive and feminine. So I do think you guys kind of like conflate the two. You think like if we lust after the chick, we want to be with the chick too, and that's not always the case. Because like if you look under the videos, with like Superhead and um, Amber Rose and Black China, you would see in the comments most guys say they would smash, but they wouldn't wife them up. So you do have some guys, but it's not. I don't think most men would want to wife up a hoe. I think most men just use hoes accordingly, and females get jealous of the attention they get, and they just say that.
Um,
I understand that, but I think that, you know, as an adult woman, as mature women or women with experience, I guess you can decipher. However, young girls, all they see, or, you know, young women,
But that's
all
what I'm
they
saying.
see
That's TV.
is, but like, even if just on social media, they're seeing the huge amounts of attention that these women are garnering from men across all spectrums who, you know, seem to be attracted to them.
But the thing is that these hoes, they're not really winning in the long run. They're winning the bag, they're winning money, they're winning finances, but they're losing in the game of like keeping a man, like keeping a marriage together. Like they're the ones that are always getting divorced, dumped, passed around. And when you look at Amber Rose, Black China, like they have a bad rep now. Nobody wants to really take them seriously. So, being a hoe is profitable, but in the long run, you're still going to wind up alone because that's not what men really want as far as a woman to settle down. Not most men, but you will have some simp dudes, like I said, who never had a bad woman before who will do that. Does
well,
that make
and go ahead. I'm
does
sorry.
that make sense?
It makes sense, but then okay, Amber Rose has been married before, and Amber Rose was a stripper
But
before
she
she
didn't
got
keep a
married.
man though. She did not. She can't keep a man for nothing. So the point is, getting married doesn't mean anything. Staying married is more important. Keeping a man is more important. Just getting the ring don't mean shit if you can't keep a dude.
Mm.
Yeah, it actually, to me, I actually disagree with that because the fact that she was able to even get married says a lot. It says a lot to the things that we promote that we want in our community. But if she was a type of chick that had a chance to get married, that says something because a lot of us aren't getting married. And then we're saying that we want the men are saying that they want the feminine women, they want the nice girl. But if the nice girl is being passed over for the hoe or the big booty girl, and the big booty girl doesn't have a whole lot to offer, what message are we sending to the wholesome girl? Because the
But that's the
wholesome girl
thing.
isn't getting married. And within our community, if we're saying that most women aren't getting married, but then you have a certain type, but most men would argue that that the hoes aren't the most getting married, but the fact that they are is a big thing. Who is that with the noise in the background? Okay, go ahead, Leo.
But the thing is that you're looking at the 1% of men. You're looking at the men on TV that are rich, they're millionaires, they have their pick of the litter, and they think because I guess those guys represent the top guys, they think, okay, if this top guy wants a hoe to be a wife, that means all men, if they were in the same position, would want a hoe. And that's not the case. Like every dude is not going to be like Drake, and get a stripper pregnant or Wiz Khalifa and wife up a stripper. A lot of dudes have more sense than that. But like I said, you have dudes who are simps and they've never really had an attractive woman like that, and they get caught up in that trap. But I don't think like the average dude, most of them just use hoes and pass them along. And I think females are kind of like delusional because the hoes you're talking about are very attractive. I don't think like the average looking hoe that's like a 5 or below is getting wifed up. She's getting passed around. Now she can get wifed up if she's feminine. So I think excuse me. I think women kind of underestimate how much femininity is desired by men. But in a sense, I do think that's men's fault a little bit because we don't really talk about how we want feminine women a lot. This being on YouTube, listening to y'all, this is like the first time I've heard men talk about wanting a feminine woman. Because if you ask a woman in the real world, what does it mean to be a feminine woman? I guarantee you they're not gonna know. They're gonna make up something like, "Oh, I'm a feminine woman because I'm a woman. I'm a feminine
Mm.
woman because I'm me." So I think to kind of cure this problem, men needs to promote femininity. That's what we really want in the long run. The hoes are just for fun. They're not really be taken serious.
But are women supposed to wait until y'all have had all of y'all fun and just be a wholesome good girl and good natured and feminine and
Wait,
Yeah.
if you're not speaking,
Yes.
mute your mic. If I'm muting your mic, that means you have background noise. Okay, go ahead.
I don't know how realistic that is for a woman to be. It's the same thing that, I hear that I've heard men in this space complain about. They complain about how they were taught that the good guy gets the girl in the end, but really and truly the girl is going after the bad guy. So you guys are saying, oh, well, the men are going after the quote unquote bad girl, but that's just to have their fun. When they're really ready for
Yes.
something serious, they'll
This is
come
what I be
find
trying to
you.
teach my homegirls. I'm like, you gotta learn how to tell the difference, which I don't think y'all can, honestly, between a female that a guy would just want to smash and dash on, and a female that a guy wants to wife. I don't think women can tell the difference. As men, we can, because I think most of us know what we want in a woman, but I think women, they just can't tell. They conflate the two. They think it's one and the same, and it's not.
Let
That's a
me
good
ask
point.
you a question. Do you think that men are really good at picking out between who's like a hoe and who's not?
Absolutely, I could tell if a chick is a hoe, a good girl, or not. Almost
And do you
within the
feel
first
and
10
you feel
minutes of
like
knowing her.
and so do you feel like most men have that ability?
I do, but I do think, to give credence to you guys' points, some men don't care if a chick is a hoe as long as she looks attractive. Then, like I said, they want a trophy wife, a trophy piece, so they're gonna pick her anyway.
No,
So they
it's
don't
not
care
even
if she's a
that.
hoe or a single
Or they
mother.
want to simp.
Yeah, or they
Yeah,
want to simp because
no, they
they're
want
not
they
used
want
to
somebody
having
to
like
stick
an.
their dick in. They use hoes to stick their dick in, and that's pretty much it. And people try to act
Well,
like
when
it's
a
Even
something
dude
like
more than that.
writes up,
When dudes writes up a chick that's a hoe, he's making a conscious decision. And when you talk to dudes after the fact, like shout out to Dre and them, they will Judge Dre and all of them, they will admit that. They knew what the fuck they were dealing with. They decided to deal with it. Men don't get to lie to other men about that because they know they bullshit when they say it. So they know who
I
they
can't
fucking with.
hear Edward. I'm gonna back out and come right back in.
Can, do y'all hear? Do you
Can,
still hear background
can
noise?
anybody hear me?
I can hear you, Edward.
Okay, so yeah, but no. Oh yeah, see, there's no back and forth when men are talking to men. Like Roger can attest to this with Dre and other people. They know who they fucking with. And they admit that they know what they were dealing with when they decided to commit to it, and they still
Ev-
did it anyway. And that's the end of the story.
Okay, but
every
Okay,
dude.
that goes for
but
men. That goes for men and women. Like that. It applies on both sides. But can I
Yeah,
just
but
address what
women are
y'all were?
not. But men are not as delusional about it. Like the thing about it is, when
I
you're in the
mean,
barbershop, men don't get to try to play this plausible deniability shit. Where everybody's gonna collapse on him extremely quickly and say, "Nigga, you knew who you were fucking with. You knew she was a hoe. Just admit that pussy was good. Just stop lying." We don't even give dudes like that room to even come up with stories and shit. We shut that down real quick. And so,
that that
and
that
dudes will
might
laugh
that
it
might
off.
be. I mean, that might be true. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
I
Most
like
dudes
I
ain't
I
even
I
trying.
I'd have to think
Nah,
I
about
most
that.
dudes
I
are not
agree
gonna
with
try to.
Edward. Most
But
dudes
can I?
know if they're
So
with a
regarding what you were
hoe.
saying about you were saying Amber Rose, like you were using Amber Rose as example of a hoe that's winning or whatnot. I
well,
mean,
I'm not going to necessarily say she's winning at this point, but at one point in time, we do know she was a stripper. We do know that Kanye came and got her out of the strip club. We do know Kanye had her on display. We do know that she got married to Wiz Khalifa.
okay.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Now
And
we
she
wouldn't
was
necessarily say
industry
that.
goods.
Right. And she did go a couple of rounds, or she was seen, because we can't necessarily say who she slept with, who she didn't. But certain guys, we can say, we can assume that she slept. We can assume that she slept with Kanye. We can assume that she slept with Wiz Khalifa. Then she had a baby with Wiz. Now she's with another man, and she just had another baby. Um, I'm not gonna
She a
necessarily.
stripper. She a stripper. We can assume she slept with a lot of men. She was a
Okay.
stripper.
Okay,
Well,
can I say?
hoes get their 15 minutes of fame, but in the end, hoes don't live happily ever after. This
All
is
right, but
what
can I?
women
All right,
don't
but can
talk
I?
about.
I just want to make this point. I guess I'm kind of curious. Sometimes I'm curious about the types of men women actually like, you know, get disappointed by. Like for instance, like Kanye and Wiz Khalifa. I mean, are these men that women would actually want?
Well, they're talking about their economic value.
yeah.
And I
According
think this was just an, a high level example like that, so everybody can get the picture. Like,
Oh, well,
it's
show me
not
a
so
hoe when
much as
she's 50. Show me a hoe when she's 50, how she's living. I'll show you one that's winning. Women
Right, she
always
not
talk about
winning.
they're winning when they're in their sexual peak. The question is, after they hit the wall, what are they doing? Do they got retirement?
well,
Are they able to do what
according
they
to you
do?
all, she's already hit the wall. Isn't the wall at what 27ish? She's hit the wall.
Well, no. The real wall is usually like when you're in your 40s. Amber Rose is said to hit the wall because it's very clear that the type of guy she was able to get, she's not able to get anymore. The guy she was, and that's how you can see she's hit the wall early because the dude that she's with right now is a clear drop in stock from the dude she was able to command. So it's a very clear that the market that she was dealing in is not fucking with her no more. It's like somebody that used to play in the NBA and now they had to drop down to like D1 or D3 college. They clearly dropped off.
Okay.
Okay, you know,
Look
but
at
I still want to make this point. Let me just finish. Let me just say this one last thing. I apologize. Let me just make this point. So I mean, I know you said it's a high level example. You know, it's just something we can all, you know, pick out this person and use that as an example. But at the same time, I still equate it to be like let's say Cardi B came out and said she don't like, I don't know, X type of man. She don't like the educated lame type dude. All right. And I use that and I say, oh, well, see these black women, you know, they don't like no man who got standards or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like some people will do that. Some people use Cardi B like she's the standard for black women or something. So that's sometimes what can irritate me about these conversations sometimes. Like you gonna use, yeah.
We understand that they're not the standard. I mean, we can't use we're trying not to use just all anecdotal evidence. We don't want to
Okay.
use
All
Lil Ray from down the block in Junebug or, Herbert from school. We trying to use example. We're not saying that they are the standard, and or how
Okay.
all black men
Of course
operate.
not. Of course not. But maybe not our specific conversation, but conversations in general. Yes, this is what we tend to do. We always looking at this celebrity, that celebrity, and I'm guilty of it. You know what I'm saying? Like I love to beat up on Sierra, you know, for like getting with Future. You know what I'm saying?
That's because people live vicariously through
Well,
celebrities, so they're
it don't
very
matter.
influenced
Pedro's,
by them.
at the end of the day, black women say hoes are women because the average black woman's a hoe. Nobody wants to come out and say that. The average black
Facts.
woman's a hoe, and
See, there
hoes,
you go. Where you
hoes,
get that from,
hoes,
Roger?
No,
hoes,
Really?
Oh,
It's true
hoes,
though.
And Roger's
and, and
Roger's usually a
can I
nice.
finish? Can I
Empirical
finish?
evidence.
Can I finish?
Roger
Can I
usually
finish
a
real
Okay,
nice.
quick?
you
That Roger
triggering
who
me.
said
And
that.
You
and
triggering me.
and these hoes have raised boys get to a certain age before they figure out most of
that's
the
hard
women
to
they
hear.
come
I
in
can't hear
contact
you.
with are hoes too, because their mama told them a bunch of BS while they were growing up. So the only way it
Well,
even looks for a second like hoes are winning is because these men ain't figured out that the average woman they
I,
come across is about to
I,
be a
I
hoe.
disagree.
I
I
would take it a
disagree
step. I would
wholeheartedly.
take it a step down. But what I will say is, women do submit to too many women validate whole culture. The reality of the situation
So
is
do men.
the rally. Well, at the end of the day. So, but this comes.
the women to
Can
be
This
can
comes
I
back. This comes back. Hold on. This comes back to what I said though. This comes on the last time I was here. You know, women identify sexuality as their only real source of power. See, there's a difference between over sexualization and femininity, and most of our women don't know the difference between them. They don't understand how to use femininity, so they use sexualization, which is the basically rough shot. The problem is femininity is long
I
term
feel like it's
power.
more of our generation than black women. I just feel like
could I
I
say
I mean,
something?
I mean, it shows up the worst in our generation,
I,
but you make it sound like
I'm
they were
not.
doing freakniks in the '90s. They was like, it's not. It's been going on a long time with the millennials.
I think that black people are hypersexual, but to say that most black women are hoes, I'm not accepting that. Like, what
Well,
do you
okay,
have
so I got a
to
question.
say?
So, I'm gonna answer. I got a question for you that I'm gonna answer.
Edward, real quick. How can she say they're hypersexual then say they're not hoes? That don't even make sense.
That doesn't make you a hoe. I could be hypersexual and want to be jumping on my man
All right,
all day long.
so I got a question. How many bodies you gotta have to be considered a hoe? I say 40. What do you say?
That's a lot. I mean,
yeah, I'm giving you a high bar. I'm giving you a very high bar.
Absolutely, 40, way less than 40, but yes, 40.
The thing is
you
that
give me your number because I can
do the numbers. Can
I say something real quick?
Okay, so what's the percentage of black women do you think has that number or higher? Because I can show you chicks that's got 20 when in a 2-year span.
How do you know this? How do you know who's who?
All right, Edward. I will say you can't actually validate that. I will say
that's hard to quantify. But here's the thing: like a lot of women use like their
I guess you can look at
sexuality in place of their femininity. I'll come across a lot of
look
girls.
at the body count, so we're just gonna be in denial with that and just say you can't validate that.
There's no evidence of that, and I wouldn't even speculate.
I got evidence.
Let me tell you something.
I got evidence.
I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I grew up around white girls. I can see you saying that about them, sisters. I'm not buying that. That's some BS.
I got evidence. I got evidence.
On their beloved white girls, girl. Don't you do that?
I mean,
I'm not saying white girls don't do it, but I'm saying it's a myth that in the 90s, and hold on,
for it. White girls are expected to do it. It's a phase.
In the 90s, black women could say that. In 2000, from 2000 and I'd say 10 and up, they're hand in hand with white women.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I'm about to show you. Yeah, absolutely not. And I'm going to show clear
STDs because we don't.
Let me tell it to you. You ain't got to tell me what to tell you. Let me tell it to you.
Fucking in middle school.
Yeah. Let me tell it to you. First of all, put the body count aside, but the average black woman is going to be ashamed of their body count because ain't nobody going to really tell you what it is. So that's already letting you know they hoes in the first place. Women in general. I don't care about women in general. We talking about black women. It doesn't matter if Asian women are hoes. If you a hoe, what they got to do with an Asian woman being a hoe?
I'm not saying that. I said women want to pretend to be wholesome.
Okay.
So they're not.
I'm talking about black women. I'm talking about black women.
Hold on. I have fucked 17 different bitches in a 6-week period. So ain't nobody can tell me shit about these bitches ain't fucked.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Let me say this to Roger. See, when you say black women, you're putting something specific to say, okay, black women are hoes like other races of women aren't hoes, just us. And then
who cares about them?
Oh my God. Let me finish my point. When you say that black women are hoes and you put something specific on it as opposed to saying women are hoes, then that does make a difference because you are talking about a group of women specifically.
Well, because Roger mainly fucks with black women and so do I. That's why we say that.
The whole conversation.
But then you can't. Wait a minute. Let me finish my point. You can't come on two black lady shows and then say, yeah, black women. Nah, that's not how that shit gonna
go. Okay, so y'all want us to say anything good, we can just say just black women, but anything is bad, we gotta say all women.
Hold on, Edward, let me handle this myself. All
right,
we are black people. We are black people on a black person's YouTube show talking about black people. Yet you want me to make a distinction about other folks? It makes no sense at all. We're black people talking about black people. What do I need to worry about what everybody else is doing right now for? I'm not in. This is not a.
Because I would. Even though I've had. Let me finish my point, Edward. I wouldn't get on your show, nor would I come on your show, Edward, and say that black men ain't shit, even though I've had bad encounters with black men. Right. I would never get on your show and say black men.
That would be your opinion.
You know
Am I
what,
allowed to tell the
Danielle?
truth?
But if
Am I
you
allowed
go
to
out
tell
of
the
your
truth?
hold on. But if
Look
you go
how
out of
I
your
just want to
way,
say this really quick. Look how
yeah.
black men were in an uproar this week when Lonnie Love said they have a problem being faithful. So,
Oh,
but it's
Okay,
okay.
okay
keep
for
Oh,
saying it.
others
okay.
to come on
Oh,
here and
okay.
say black women are hoes. Come on now.
Well,
Oh,
that's because she's
okay,
clearly
look.
with a white dude. And number one, to be fair, Lonnie Love was talking about black men that have options economically, and she was upset. So this is it's difference between if somebody said like white women are better, like white women are less hoes. See, when you said the white women thing, I said hell yeah, white women are hoes, and I didn't deny that at all. But and I also said that what you said was true in the 90s and early 2000s is still true. I'm saying now that's not true. But back
Well,
then in the 90s, that was
could I
true
say
with the
something?
thing about black women were less, out there. But that's not true now. Like
Okay.
now, it's happened.
Could
It's
could I say
Well,
something?
all right,
Go
go.
ahead.
All right. Now, I agree with Roger Report and Edward Anderson, and I kind of agree with you, Sister George. Women in general are more promiscuous than ever. The biggest horrors I've seen were white women, actually, and Asian women. But I've come across a lot of black women who were whores. They were hoes. And my thing is, a lot of them use their sex game and sexuality and sex appeal in place of femininity. That's why they just think they can pretty much talk to you however they want because they like, okay, if I just um you know give it to them real good in the bedroom or give them a nice little blowjob, then everything is solved. And that's not the case. You still desire like that cooperation, that peace. So I think that's the problem in our culture is that um like you Concrete was saying that people are like hypersexual now. Like sex is not everything. It's important, but it's not everything.
Yeah, and men think like hoes
Well,
too. That's how you know you're in a guy. Men literally
well,
have the mindset of a hoe. The same stuff that I'm saying that black women think that I said on that last
Of
time I was on
course,
here, where
we think good dick will
black
solve
women look at
everything.
their they look at their primary power as from sexual, which is an issue, but it's understandable from a female perspective. Most dudes, when you compare, and yeah, I am gonna make a comparison. If you compare black men, and BGS did a video on this actually, you compare all non-black men, white, Asian, even Latin, or Latin's a little bit more closer to us with it. Black men, when they come talk to only black men, the first thing they want to say is the ultimate form of manhood. It's not your ability to economically succeed, but it's your ability to get bitches. It doesn't matter what women. They will actually see a black man that fucks nothing but fat women as higher value than a dude that is more conservative but makes more money. This is how most black men think to variable degrees. They literally think like a fucking hoe. And this is why they always talk about what bitches they're getting,
Mm.
even though economically they're fucking trash.
Right. And
You know, and I
dudes
do
but see,
think
dudes
women are
shame other
trying to.
guys like that
I
too.
need to get
Dudes
this point in. I,
I, I do
can I
think
get
that
this point
women are
in
trying to.
because
Go
because
ahead, Roger Report.
this is the issue. Too much denial is going on. When you were having this conversation, you specifically said you think black women aren't hoes. I said specifically that black women are hoes. And I said I got plenty of evidence for it. So then you say something to me about saying something about black women when you specifically said I don't believe these particular women are hoes. And my whole rebuttal is about I can tell you how these specific group of women are hoes, which means everything you got to say about white women, Asian women, Filipino women, whatever women, ain't got nothing to do when you start taking on particulars, which was exactly brought up. Concrete Rose specifically says she does not think black women are hoes.
Well, listen,
And
I
they are.
said most. I don't think that most black women are
And,
hoes,
and
is
I'm
what I
telling you
said.
they and I'm telling you I think they are, and I can tell you why.
Well, let me say this, and then I would like to hear your why. I want to say I do think that there is an increasing number of black women that have bought into the feminist rhetoric, and they do want to do everything that a man can do. So I think that the thinking behind them, their behavior is, oh, if a man can do it, I can do it too, regardless of what it is. But I don't think that majority of black women are hoes. I don't think that majority of black women have bit the apple and have bought into those ideologies. But what's your evidence?
Okay, that's part of it right there. The whole feminist attitude. So therefore, they're sexually liberated, which means they're hoes. You got plenty of black men that have slept with somebody else's girlfriend. Hoes. Hoes take multiple dicks at the same time. An average black woman won't even break up with a man until she got the new man already settled in place, and she's already screwing him before she leaves the first man. Hoes. You know what I'm saying?
Are you
Plus,
talking about women of a certain age? Like you
no,
talking about
I'm
adult
talking
women
about
over 40?
black. I'm talking about black women of all ages.
Oh my God.
All of them.
Oh wow.
Every age category
Roger.
has a large section of black women that are doing this.
I mean, I'm specifically like talking about women that. Go ahead, Roger. You borging out. Maybe it's me.
They have a boyfriend and they know that relationship is coming to an end, or they're unsatisfied in some way, they're going to try to establish a new relationship and start having sex with a second dude before she gives up that first dude. Dicks at once. The average black woman is just a hoe. That's just the way it is.
I mean,
Roger. I was trying to let Meech in. Hold up a second. Meech, what do you have to say? Sheesh. Okay, Meech. I'm gonna drop you out and bring you back in.
I want to know too, while Danny is doing that, the next person to speak, and then maybe we can get the whole panel to chime in. What percentage of the black women that you know do you believe are hoes? Like, I'm trying to figure out how y'all quantifying this. Like, where are you getting your scientific data to support
okay,
this
so now it's
assertion?
gotta be. I mean, you can look at. You want science. You can look at it with the STD rate. You can look at it in the surveys of rise of
black people don't
black
like to use
female
protection. I agree
admittingly
with
so talking about bisexuality. You can look at it between how much black women in particular embrace LGBT culture. You can
that.
you can look at
I
it.
don't
Then
be
there's
seeing that.
anecdotal evidence.
So,
I
Edward
mean,
Anderson, you would consider so you would consider women with numbers over 40 to be hoes. You would consider.
you can look at how
Let
young
me.
these females are getting sexually active too.
Okay, so you're saying age. You said them being bisexual. You would consider bisexual women hoes.
Yeah, I'm talking about women that are 40. Let's talk about women that's 40 and under. If we're gonna put like a number on it. So we're pretty much talking about older millennials, older millennials, and late Gen Xers. So we'll do 40 and under.
So
These
would
are gonna
you
be the most
say?
sexually active.
So would you say that? Okay, because sexual promiscuity is actually being promoted with our race, well, with everybody's race as a whole, right? Wouldn't you say that most people 40 and under are being taught to be more sexually promiscuous? Would you say that
Listen to the
would be
music.
Yeah, but no. Here's the thing. I'm not denying like it's an American thing. So I'm not saying that black women are like the most hoish. That's not what Roger was saying.
That's what I want to understand. That's what I want to understand.
What Roger wasn't
That's
saying
what y'all
that. We were saying that when black women can't say that they can hold the title of we're not hoes while everybody is as a group. You can look at you can look at the stripper culture that's not only promoted, but is also economically validated by mainly black women. When you look at shows like TV shows, if you look at popular TV shows that black women in particular support, these are different shows that their main demographics are black men. They all have a hoish twin to it. So my point is, there's a lot of evidence
that's being supported by y'all.
Yep.
So now give me a show. Give me a show.
You people.
The Scandal was damn sure not supported by black men. So give me a show.
I said stripper
she's
culture.
Gotta have it.
She's gotta have it. Though. But Roger, let's not act like there are mostly women at the strip club. Now, women may validate it in one way, but you can't say that the men don't validate the culture at all. Let's be for real. Come on.
Yeah, but that's like saying that men are broke because of women. Like the reality, so it's like, oh well, I'm a hoe, but because men validated it's okay.
So you think that if hoes didn't have anybody to be hoes with, they would still be hoes?
Feminism is proof of that.
Good.
Because because what feminism says is I can do what a man does. It's not about men validating it. This is what slut shaming is about.
if men stop frequenting strip clubs and dropping bands and making it rain and this,
Okay,
that,
so
and the other,
okay, let's
then
go the other
everybody's
way.
fine
Let's go.
with
Hold
it.
on. Let's go the other way. Let's go the other way. Let's say yes, men validated. That is it. That's you admitting that yes, women are hoes.
Yeah, women
I
are
never
okay.
said women are hoes.
No, but
Okay,
that's
I
what
want
you're
to ask a
trying. That's where
question.
you're
I want
trying
to
to
ask a
go
question.
with.
Okay, all right.
Because here's hold on. I'm gonna
All
say
right.
this
When
and
we
I'm done.
say
Specific
when,
Hold on. I want
when
to say
we
this and I'm done.
say
Here's
okay,
the
the
thing.
majority black women, the average black woman is a hoe. Okay, like okay, can we also say the average black man is a hoe? Like where I guess when you say
I
that,
just
No,
said
Courtney
that.
no,
Yeah,
Love already
we
told
said
us
that. I
that.
established that. Black men are Negro bucks. Especially
okay,
the men
all
that
right,
are elevated for the
okay,
women.
all right,
That's
all
not
right. So
what
let
I'm.
me ask.
But
All right, all right. So let me just
that's not
continue
what
the
I'm
thought.
talking about.
Let me just continue
Go
it. All
ahead.
right. So all right. So I guess I'm just curious. So if we say the average black woman's hoe, like what's the point that we make when we say that? So okay, so we can
Okay,
say
can I say
I'm
that?
gonna
Because
give you the
you're
point.
let me give the point. Here's the point. The point is the difference between men being sexually active. Men have their own problems. You don't see men really going out of their way to save niggas that's got like child support debt and get fucked over by women. We say it's fucked up, but at the end of the day, dudes know what the fuck they were getting into. And shout out to Judge. We were talking to him about that. Dudes know what the fuck they're getting up into. You don't have this thing where we're like phalanxing dudes that don't have kids or like getting in front of dudes with kids, basically leading the charge to say this is bullshit. We know if you fucking a whole bunch of bitches, you're likely to get a lot of baggage, which is
okay.
what
So
that
can I
is.
ask?
Hold on. Now on the female side, the difference with women is women want to say I'm not a hoe while being a hoe, or I can be a hoe. It doesn't matter. But then they cry about their outcomes because when their sexual marketplace value goes down, then the same niggas they could get before they can't get now, and then they get angry because dudes can just stop being hoes if they have their economics and shit straight and then settle down. That went back to what Concrete said before about men not wanting to settle down until ready. Women can't
Yeah.
be men because what men look for in women is different than what women look for in men.
And
Okay.
men
True,
can't be
true.
hoes. Men cannot be hoes because
Say
at
what
the end
now?
of the day, men can't be hoes because a man who has sexual prowess or who can show that he can sleep with a bunch of women is going to be valued by women. Men do not hold value for women that can
And
prove
y'all
they can get
value
a bunch of
hoes.
dicks. No, listen what I said. Men do not value a woman that proves she can get a bunch of dicks. We don't have value for
Yeah,
those women.
That's why they
Actually,
gonna make
chastity has
100K.
no
wait a
value
minute,
in
That's
the
wait a
why
black
that
minute. One at
community
a
for me.
time. One at a time. One
is
at a
that why the
time.
average stripper in Atlanta makes 100K?
I don't live in Atlanta. I can't tell you why.
I'm just
That
asking.
might
Oh,
be the
now they
case.
don't know.
No, no,
Okay.
hold on. I would
Okay,
say
dude. Okay,
if I
so
had to make a guess, I would
but
say
here,
it's
here's the
probably
no. I get that. You know what? Let's say men do validate that. Atlanta's got the biggest tricks, and so does Houston. Now you ask them chicks up north that are black in New York, they crying about colorism. That's why I tell they black ass, you're stupid. You need to come to the South where they actually value your dark skin and you can make that money. So thank you for confirming that. So yes, men give all the look, fuck the strip clubs. You know how, in fact, let me tell you something. Do you know how much money women make? Women can make the same amount of money taking not even being in front of men. They could be a cam girl and make the same amount of money. So there's money for hoes all day, every day. Any woman that wants to do that, there's easy money. Guess the fuck what though? That's cool. But when your sexual marketplace value runs out, don't be bitching that there's not a man for you. You played, you did your dirt. Just like a D-boy that sells dope and gets mad if he gets 20, 25 years. Yeah, they sell dope because people buy it. But there's
Okay.
consequences with that.
So you feel that women enable each other's whole behavior, or they excuse it?
No. Fuck that. No, fuck that. Men enable.
man. All
We'll
that.
go with that. We will go with that. Men are the primary enablers of hoish behavior. I will give
But
concrete
hold
that.
on though.
Thank you, Edward. That's what we need.
Hold on. What does it matter? You a hoe because you want to be one.
Exactly.
Everybody got option to do something other than be a hoe, but it's plenty of women as hoes because that's what they choose to do. Don't give me that
They a hoe because it's easy. Do you understand how easy it is for a chick? And I'm going here.
We're not
Hoeing
I'm
tripping.
ain't
because
going
she
here.
easy.
chooses.
I'm about
Listen,
to go
hoeing
there.
ain't easy and there's no retirement plan. Like,
What?
stop.
No.
Come on
Are
now.
you serious? I can show you. Oh,
you
first
talk
of
about
all,
strip clubs in Atlanta.
go look up.
Maybe
Go look
people in
up.
Atlanta got a lot
Go
of money
look
to
up
put on
Stormy
strip clubs.
Wellington.
Maybe there's only a certain amount of strip clubs in Atlanta. I don't know about Atlanta's specific situation.
See, that's that. Hold on. Because now we're
You a
getting
hoe
into
because you
another
want to be.
narrative. That's first of all, hoeing. Let's keep this all the way real. If you talk about a strip, hoeing is not in a strip, just a strip club. The sugar baby shit is hoeing. There is a lot of there's digital hoeing now with the cam girl shit, the OnlyFans shit, the private. You don't. In fact, in my opinion, you're stupid if you're in a strip club. The reality of the situation is with all these thirsty niggas and white boys on Instagram, all you got to do is put some bikinis up and you got a fat ass and shit like that. And you will make money outside your own house. So my point though is what? Go ahead.
I just want to ask you something. All right. So we established that, let's just say we all agree. Okay. Black women are hoes. All right. You know what I'm saying? Let's just say you turned me, I'm a believer. I'm a believer now. Okay. They're all hoes. All right. So what insight does this give us as far as the overall conversation as far as what men honest about their preferences? So we acknowledge their hoes. Now what?
Okay, so
men don't give huge value to hoes, period. And women are salty because they're being hoes, and men are not valuing them. That's what the problem.
So this is, hold on, but it's what type of value? Because then it'll sound like we just double talking like a motherfucker. Let me tell you this: if I have a deck of cards and I throw them on the ground and I tell a man, pick up the ugliest bitch you will fuck, they will. A lot of black men will pick up a card that I don't like, and I say, okay, whatever. If I take those same cards, pick them up in disgust, and throw them on the floor again, and I say, pick up the ugliest female you will marry, completely different pick every time, no matter what type of black men you're dealing with. You know why? Because men have a different value on women they are willing to commit to and put resources to as far as long term versus a woman that they doing rent a car with. So women, black women don't understand that difference. So they believe that whole power is real power, when in actuality, other women, and this is where I'm putting black women in particular, other women understand the difference. They understand that there is whole power, but there's also other power too. You got to tap into.
Okay,
whole
wait
power is like
a minute.
Yeah.
Let me get in. So what I was gonna say, because I did hear a person mention this. I don't know if it was on Game Changers panel, but it was on somebody's panel last night. And what he alluded to is that black women are overt hoes, and other races of women are covert hoes. What do y'all say about that?
Yeah, that's true. They understand the difference.
Can I speak on that?
Go ahead.
All right. The thing is that y'all kind of missing the point. Like, it's not really, dudes aren't wifing them up because they're a hoe. They're wifing them up because they're a very attractive woman. Like, Amber Rose is very attractive. Superhead is very attractive.
Despite the fact that she's a hoe.
Yeah, despite the fact that she's a hoe, if you're that attractive,
that was our primary point, though,
regardless.
Leo, we said that. We said basically, if you're attractive, then a lot of that nullifies a lot of your traits that are undesirable to men.
Right, but every
there's
guy,
some suckers for all these chicks at that level.
My other point, Edward, let me finish. But my point is that every guy doesn't fall for that trap. That's why even though they're very attractive, they still get divorced and dumped. Like, I be looking at women who are attractive like that and can never keep a man as something is wrong with them. So they're not really what men want if they can't keep a man. They're what men are attracted to, but they're not what men want.
If you necessarily can't keep a man, but you have no problem attracting one, you'll never be lonely. So hey. So
that's sexual, but all of that comes back to women, like, your sexual marketplace value is not always going to be at its peak. So women talk like that, like that's always forever. It's not. Like, you see what Amber Rose was able to do and what she is able to do. It's the same thing.
There's always
that's why I say they're not winning in the long run.
And all these
ready to.
Go ahead. My bad.
No, I was just saying.
Let me
Those are
ask
sucker
you.
that's
You
ready
guys
to.
brought it back home. So
Yeah.
ultimately, the question was: are black men being honest about who they prefer? So,
Yes, black men are being honest. The problem is women don't want to hear it. Like most of, like I remember I did a
answer the
video.
question, Edward. So answer the question. What do black men prefer?
Like so, that's a wrong question. The different question, and I'm gonna
that's
answer it.
subjective. It's
It's
subjective.
what do black men prefer as far as fucking only? So fuck and throw away, and what do black men prefer as far as a wife?
Okay, what do black men prefer as a wife? Because we get what they prefer as to fuck. We get it. They like the big booty girl with the small waist and big titties, and she's.
Well, don't y'all
I
think
mean,
that?
most women ain't even
Don't
like.
y'all
I
think
mean,
that
that's
question
most
is kind of
dudes.
too
I mean,
general?
but to answer your question
just
directly,
said preference.
most black men want what I call the around the way girl, black female. A black female that knows how to. I would say she's a 7. I would even argue an upgradable 6, meaning she can upgrade into a 7, 7.5, and she's very cooperative and she knows how to control that female bullshit, but she lets it out when it's necessary to let it out. It's around. I can show you. It's very easier for me to show you pictures. I remember when I did a
Wait a
video
minute,
and I showed
type. So the April
Huh?
Mason type. So the April Mason type.
More or less. By the time she's her age.
So can y'all answer
when you say the round the way girl
next
I
door.
mean, are you talking about like girl next door, but like a more like a April? What's the girl who dated Lil Fizz, or like her, or a Lori Harvey, or like, because women that I
mean, Lori Harvey is not a 7. She's higher than a 7. So I mean, that's ideal. But they don't even got to be that pretty.
What about like April? Like what's a younger example than April Mason?
Like, see, now we're going to have to pull up pictures. That's the best way to do it. I did that.
Me personally, I like Megan Good and I like Nicole Bahari. I mean, I like
Megan Good is higher than the average. Megan Good is like an 8, 8.5.
Oh, okay. Oh, you talking about?
And then you walking into the light skin. Don't walk into the light skin trap. You stepped on it.
Megan Good is not light skin. Megan Good is not light skin. Megan Good is not light skin.
And Megan Good is a good example. Like you see how Megan Good
ain't a Maryland nigger either.
No, but I'm saying, look, you see how Megan Good treats her husband. She never disrespects him when she's on interviews.
To be white. but no, I get you. Go ahead, man.
Can I finish? The main attraction to her is that she's very feminine, and you could tell with the husband she got now, she's very submissive to him. She changed her whole life around, becoming this big Christian, humble woman for her husband. And even in interviews, you could look, and I don't pay attention to what women say. I pay attention to their body language. And even with her body language, you can tell she is submissive to that man, because when they ask her to speak, she looks at him first to see if she has his permission and then speaks. So men value femininity more than
be a hoe, by the way, apparently.
That's what I thought.
That's what everybody tells me. I didn't know. So she was good at hiding it, but she's a good example of that. Okay. You don't know.
My point is, men value that as a wife quality other than you just looking good and being
I would
a
say
hoe.
The Kelly Rowland type as far as look.
Oh, wait, Edward, hold on. You said Megan Good used to be a hoe. What does that have to do with anything?
Because we were just talking about non-black women knowing how to switch it up. That's why I concretely agree with you. Because I was giving her a black example when the opportunity arose.
But hey, let me ask you a question. Would you care if a female was a hoe, like Megan Good, like you said she was, but she was still feminine and she didn't have kids and she was still very attractive? I think in this day and age,
absolutely. Because being a hoe is like having blood in your This is why these white boys are upset about the BBC now, because they believe that shit and then they get cuckolded. Next thing you know. By the way, shout out to Divorce Corp. The reality is, I don't believe in women changing. Women don't change; they adjust. So this idea that a woman can be a hoe and then she gradually retires from that is not true as long as she maintains her As long as she has the assets that allow her to be that way, it's all. And by the way, the church, Megan, a big reason why she lighted her skin and did a lot of crazy shit is because those women in the church stay calling her a hoe. Like, and if you look at those articles, she talks about it. They do not allow her to have that kind of fucking transformation. I'm not trying to knock nothing y'all said, but what I'm saying is, yes, it does. And any dude that says, "Well, I know she used to be a hoe," that's that Russell Wilson bullshit. And I'm not even saying Sierra was a hoe.
Let me get this in, Edward, because this is extremely important because people want to act like they can't see signs of the time. Women are hiding the fact they're hoes. That's what they do. When they meet a man that don't know they past because they're hoes, then it's possible for them to get married. And if you look at the marriage rate, as far as how people stay together versus how many people get divorced, it's a lot of hoes who got married and then they end up getting divorced because they couldn't handle being in a marriage.
Or they end up activating the divorce.
No, they're gonna activate it because they cannot handle having only one dick. They can't handle having fast money. When that hoe needs her bill,
Roger, stop. Come on.
No, stop. Okay, you tell me why they getting divorced then. You tell me why.
Because they can't handle one penis.
Okay, so why are they? No. Don't tell me my reason wrong because you can't tell me a better reason. If you can't tell me a better reason.
I mean, you got women that are literally talking about going on whole phase.
The problem isn't the women not staying married. The problem is people getting married in the first place. The fact that these women are able to make it down the aisle that's the problem. Because let me finish my point, Roger. If you're saying that you don't like hoes, this is not who gets married. These are supposed to be the bottom of the totem pole women. And you have very attractive women that have hoish reputations, and these hoes are getting married. Then it's like, well, y'all say y'all don't like this in one breath, but as long as the woman is attractive, they're still able to get married. That's a problem. That's the problem. That's the main problem, is that the fact that they're still able to get married. Not that they can't stay married. The fact that somebody would wipe them up in the first place is the problem.
They get married to a man that don't know about they whole behavior.
Man, you can't tell me, bro. You can't tell me if Superhead was in the strip club, there's a certain level to
I mean, I'm not gonna deny that there ain't no goofy niggas. Of course, women are good at this. Is because here's the thing.
She have to hide it though.
Hold on, you gotta remember
Eddie Winslow knew Superhead was
only like 33% of black
married. I think twice.
Only 33% of black men are married, and like 53 don't have kids. So this idea that it's like a big market for this is not true, because all these thoughts are not even married like that. Like they're not able to get, like some of them can, so we highlight those. And by the way, to give you a perfect example, one of my biggest preferences, if I can actually I can get them, but are Dominican women. So, and when I say Dominican women, I'm talking about the black version of Dominican women. But I will not marry a Dominican woman because because of the very situation as far as this topic. They have a certain, and I'm sorry, I'm a blanket if people get pissed, but they have a certain culture where cheating for them is not like cheating for the regular person. So if I marry a Dominican woman, I am accepting that this chick is going to cheat on me a couple of times. Doesn't matter what I do, it's just going to happen. And that's a big reason why I probably won't marry him, even though they would probably be a preference for me to marry, is because of that fact. So yes, there are dudes with options do pay attention to that shit. There's dudes, but there are dudes, and I admitted that. There's dudes that willfully deny that. They'll be like, she was this, but that was her past. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be mean to anybody on the panel, but anybody that thinks that is goofy, like I call that Russell Wilson syndrome. And they have this thing where they think they could change a chick when a chick has already been imprinted.
A woman is. Call that Russell Wilson? Like Russell Wilson, Sierra. There was no evidence of Sierra being a hoe. She has someone. Like, excuse me.
There's plenty of evidence.
Okay, no, I will give you that. I'll give you that concrete. I will give you that concrete, but that's not what I'm talking about. Russell Wilson, you look at the men. Hold on, y'all can disagree. Okay, I get it. Russell Wilson well, not Russell Wilson. Sierra had a clear line of guys that she dated. Clear line, clear archetype. And for her to just switch up with that when that's convenient, for Russell to basically buy into that, well, it's working out for him, and I hope it does. Go ahead, y'all.
Yeah, man. So, shout out to the panel, Concrete Rose and Sister George. Yeah, man. Look, I can't complain, man.
I
Look,
can't hear him. Let me go out and come back.
can you hear me? Can y'all hear me? Am I good?
I can hear you.
Your background's a little noisy, but we can hear
Yeah,
you.
I'm trying
I
to
know
get this
you at
food
an
and watch
event.
this game. Yeah, but no, I just watch the game and eat some food. But yeah, man. Yeah. Again, you guys are excluding the like the eight, nines, and dimes. They don't play by the same rules. So again, I think you guys need to be looking at like the 5 to 7 range
Exactly.
when you make these comparisons or assessments. When it comes to 5 to 7s, man, nobody you can't be no hoe out here, and I don't even understand how dudes get married in like little small towns. Because I look back and I remember at all the dudes that are like married to chicks that I know now that's like local that's never left, and I'm like, bruh, I know that you used to hang with your homeboy, and we know for a fact that like he was dealing with her in high school. So how the hell are you marrying her now? 16, 18 years later or whatever the fuck. What's going on here? Me personally, I just couldn't do that. So I think the thing that happens though, another thing too that again, Sister George, y'all not giving up the secrets is these women pressure these men into this shit. A man's never rushing to get married, but a man is, you know what I'm saying, he can be pressured by ultimatum. If you give him an ultimatum like, well, nigga, if you don't do this, if you don't do that, I'm out, or so on and so forth. That'll make him to
So
make.
you think ugly chicks or average chicks ain't pressuring them? Like, so it's just the attractive
No.
women who.
No, it ain't working.
Well, no, no,
It ain't
well,
working.
no. That's what I'm saying. No, the average chicks can, but I mean, the ugly chicks don't have no leverage. The ugly bitch tell you,
Oh
nigga, marry
God.
me, am I leaving? And it's like, okay, bitch, okay, I'm out. But you talking
Facts.
a 6 or a 7. It's like, well, okay, she's a good woman, especially if you guys got kids together already and stuff like that. She's you guys are two, middle class incomes and whatnot, and you combine it together to get into the next economic ladder, level of the economic ladder. I mean, it's looking like all pluses until like you say, you look at it and you understand that like, hey man, this marriage shit ain't like just going together or being in a relationship. I can send your ass home when I'm tired of you, but I gotta live with you every day, and I gotta put up with your shit, and I gotta find out like, what I mean, you took your toenails in bed and all that crazy shit. Like, yeah, bitch, I'm out. I can't stand this shit.
I
You know what I'm saying?
mean, like really and truly, stop, because women are more apt to find out a lot of things that they have to put up with in the marriage than a man, and like that's those things are trivial.
No, and you
Get
know why
agreed
that's
to
not. You
that.
know why that's not true? Because again, men choose marriage. A man is only choosing marriage
Yes,
because he's really really bought in on you. Trust and believe me,
that
ain't
was
nobody
my
getting
other
married on no
point.
bullshit.
You're not
But
Okay,
like I
but
giving
said,
men, you're not giving
even
brothers enough credit by saying that they can be just pressured into it by an ultimatum. Maybe
no,
well,
no,
no,
Can I
women.
some
that's
men
a
gonna
big
go
part of
for
it
it,
though.
but can
can I
we
follow up after that?
acknowledge? Well, can we acknowledge the fact that the marriage rate low in the first place? So most people ain't married anyway, and that's because most men don't
True.
want no hoe.
Oh
Well,
my God,
like, what do
Roger,
you mean by
stop.
that?
What I mean is, when it comes to marriages in the black community, especially, the majority of us are not married. The majority of men do not
Yeah, that's
want to
true.
marry a hoe. So you can't
But what is
say
the hoe like? Then you're basically
this.
saying all black women are hoes,
No, I didn't
and
say
that's not
all.
true.
You're saying all because when you say all, it's hiding
No,
behind the truth. I didn't say
hold on.
nothing about all.
I'm just
And,
saying
and
that from the
said that
statement that you
earlier.
said, it makes it sound like all black women are
no,
hoes. I'm just
it
trying to
makes
tell
it
you.
sound that way if you want to hide behind the truth.
I'm
When
not hiding
people
from shit,
when
dog.
when
Like, I'm
people
just
But
say
how
didn't
you
you
talk.
say that
anytime
earlier in the show,
anytime
Barbara?
anytime
He said
anytime a person
most,
says
most.
all,
Okay.
anytime a person say all, they're trying to switch the argument in a different direction, because we know when it comes to human behavior, you're never going to have all of anything. We already know that. So when people say all, they do it on purpose to try to argue something that ain't even important. The truth is, we don't want to acknowledge that we have a community where most of our women are hoes. Therefore,
Yeah,
most
that's
of our
wrong.
women are not married. Therefore, most men ain't going for it. At the end of the day, if men was going for hoes, we'd be married already.
Dude,
And the
that's a lie. You really
out
think
of wedlock out of wedlock birth rate helps that fact too, brother. I mean, you know, you extremely black females are extremely sexually promiscuous
You
and
know what? You guys are
irresponsible.
just inflating
That's why I keep
things
saying they
and
keep
trying to make
using like the
something.
what they see on TV as
It's
an
not TV,
example of
bro.
what.
These are stats, bro. These are
No. I'm
stats, bro.
saying the
No,
women,
no.
that's because of
There's
poverty,
no
bro?
stats to show
they're
That's because
that
of
using
most
poverty,
like
black
bro.
women are whores.
they're using like Cardi B and Amber Rose and them as
So hold on.
examples of what dudes want.
So hold on, concrete roll. So you wouldn't classify a woman that had multiple kids by multiple dudes that had never been married as a friendly female?
A friendly
That
Ooh,
means
female
what
and a
though?
whore is two separate things. But what I will
Okay, well
say,
That's a funny
I'm
can
one.
y'all
out in
hear me?
public,
let me
so
answer. Let
I'm
me
not using
answer.
the term.
Let
I'm not
let
using
me.
that term because I'm out amongst people.
Oh,
But
oh,
you know
oh.
what the
Okay,
hell I'm trying to
I
say.
got you. But listen, let me answer. Um, I think that I would need more information. You know, did she sleep with two men and got pregnant by both of them? And like that alone is not what I would use
I
to
just told
quantify.
you a woman with multiple kids by multiple different dudes who have never been married.
No, like marriage. You know, I don't believe in state sanctioned marriages, so that don't.
Okay, even still,
You can
well, a
have a
long term
non-state
relationship.
sanctioned marriage.
Yeah, even
Yeah,
non-state
and I do
sanctionship.
believe in
She
spiritual
hasn't been in
unions.
a long term relationship.
Um,
I'm gonna
I
need you to
mean,
stop. I'm gonna need you to stop saying that.
there's
Tap dance, Sammy Davis.
You know, we don't defend
Somebody get the
hoes on
damn.
this channel,
I'm not
I
concrete.
can't
defending
tell. They
whores,
definitely
but
defending them right now. Hey, this looking like the Chargers defense.
This
You
is what
looking
I'm
like the
trying
Chargers
to
defense
do
right now.
because you have to be careful when you answer certain questions because this is how they try to
Because the truth
pigeonhole
may
you
come out.
and back
Cause
you
you know the
into
hoes is gonna come
I
get us,
I
girl.
gave
listen.
you.
They will
Yeah,
back you into a corner. Okay, I'm going to
I gave you
answer.
all of the
I'm going
details
to
you need to know.
answer. So my thing
Okay.
is this. I need to know more information because okay, she had three kids by three different men. She was not married to either of them. Was this three kids by three different men over a 10, 15-year time span? Like that alone does
She
not
just has
make her
bad
a
pussy
whore.
management. That's all it is.
Yeah,
She just
okay,
has
well,
bad
we can say
pussy
that.
management.
Yeah,
That's a
and
I
good
that you
mean,
know what
question
that
though.
let's
equals. You
be
know what the
realistic.
title
But
is. You
that's
know what the title is for that? Friendly
Oh my
female.
gosh.
I
but that's a good
Whatever.
question though, because it's not
That's the
always that
job.
black
Your
and
job
white.
description is friendly female.
It's not black and white.
Yeah, that's what I'm
No,
trying
it's
to say. That's a good question though. So like,
it's BMS.
No,
so
I'm
like,
gonna
Excuse me,
say it's
hold up,
more
hold up.
than likely she's a hoe
BPS.
because if a woman has multiple
Yeah.
kids by multiple men, more than likely she's a hoe because one thing we know for sure, she has dealt with multiple men. Also, one thing we know for sure, no man looked at her and said she should be a wife. So she probably is a hoe because every man is unanimous in saying she's not worthy of a wife.
Y'all ain't really too keen on looking
Right,
at
and
women and saying they should
that's
be
why
a
I be
wife.
saying like females be trying to use their sex game, their pussy, as a way to kind of keep you with them. I mean, the
Uh,
females who have multiple
The
dudes,
Like
multiple
the
the
babies
baggage
by
question
game though.
multiple dudes,
and
they're
y'all are
trying to use
saying that
that
that doesn't
baby.
work.
No, they're trying to use that baby to keep the man, and it keeps failing over and over. That's
You
Uh,
usually what happens with
See,
that.
only
I don't
crazy chicks
like when
do
you
that, bro.
guys generalize like this. Like, I mean, you guys are applying
So you
these
want us to
blanket.
pick on you? You want us to make a
That how
specific
can you
person
make
pick
a
No,
on
You
mistake
you?
no, you
ain't
three
gonna
can't
pick
times
do
on
in a
that.
her.
row
But
though?
You ain't gonna pick on her.
Well, I'm saying
listen,
we got to talk in general, or we gonna start picking on somebody specifically.
but
You
you
can't have it
can't
both
apply
ways.
these blanketed statements to because women do this and all
No,
black
no,
women
no.
are whores.
Concrete Rose, Concrete
I mean, it's
Rose.
a blanketed question in the chat though.
I
Are
don't
black
like
men
it.
being honest about the women they like? That's a
Yeah,
blanket question too.
And
Yes,
no,
and
y'all
you
are
can
not
answer
being
from your
honest.
perspective. You can give me a response from your perspective. But like at the end of the day, just to say that one group of people is doing, I don't like to use blanketed statements like that. Like you want to talk about all these egregious behaviors and apply them to black women, and it's just mess. Like, come on,
Well,
seriously, let's
okay,
not do
concrete.
that.
concrete.
So what did y'all
I
say
wasn't
about
saying
Lonnie
that.
Love's blanketed statement?
We didn't
Concrete.
talk about it. I
Can
didn't
I
think it's been talked about enough.
concrete? I wasn't saying black women just in general do that. Just women in general who have multiple kids by multiple men. They do that scheme where they try to trap a dude with a baby, and it just keeps failing over and over. That's why
I
a chick that
understand
got
what you're
three
saying.
kids
I don't
by
think
three
that
different
happened that
dudes,
often.
when she gets a new dude, she's gonna try to have a baby with that dude that got money to make sure he stays. I've
I
seen
really
that
want to
happen all
know
the
if this
time.
is what you guys believe that women are doing. Like, do you think that women do like like that this is a thing? Not to say that it has never happened,
Why
but
should we
that
not
Well,
it's
believe
like,
the
what is the
evidence?
thing?
Why
that
shouldn't
it's
we
a
believe the
thing that
evidence?
it's
Why
What's the
what
shouldn't we
thing?
evidence.
believe the evidence?
Listen, that women are getting with a guy and like a freak. You know that this is
What,
just
what,
it
what
happens
concrete?
frequently
Hold
enough
on.
for us to talk about it.
Let me
It's
say
not an
something that
exception.
let me say something we can all clearly know. You don't have to make a guess about it. And see, and a lot of people want to avoid stuff that we clearly know. What we clearly know, we have a large section of black women that, as far as men are concerned, period, we've unanimously elected that they're not to be married. It was a unanimous decision. Nobody
That's not
stepped up
true,
to
bro.
do
Like,
it. No. If you haven't been married, nobody agreed to do it. So it is the truth by definition. And if
nah, bro. That's a
nobody,
weird fucking
and if
statement,
no
dog.
one,
I don't.
no, it
It's a
ain't
weird
It
weird.
fucking
is like,
statement,
come
If
bro.
on
you
now, this is
on,
what you're
Like,
doing.
come on. You've
if
been
you
saying a lot of ridiculous shit.
no,
I can't let you get away with
I
it anymore.
mean, he really is just on one.
what about the statement is not the truth?
That because someone's not married, everybody just agreed to not marry them. Like, that's so weird.
You can't get
Like, I
married
can't
unless
follow your
somebody
logic. Like,
agrees to
it's too
do it.
incoherent to like actually
Maybe
like
there's a
argue with.
That's
whole
real
lot
easy
of
to follow. That's real easy logic to follow if you
no,
understand
that's
what a
not
man
because
is.
there are
Yes,
a
it
whole
is.
lot of reasons
No,
that
it's
could
not. You're not
No,
married.
no.
There's
that
way too
That's
many
the only
reasons that
reason.
Hold
somebody
on.
could
You're
not
not
get
marriageable.
Hold
married. It's not
on.
like
The point.
everybody decided that they
Hold
didn't want to
on.
marry
The
them.
point is, the whole point is, every man she came into contact, not one of them determined she should be a wife. Not
Thank
one
you.
of them.
well
What if she didn't want to get
All the
married
maybe
men,
though?
she
out of
turned
all the
down marriage
polls she
proposals.
sampled,
Maybe
she
she doesn't
hasn't.
desire to be
She
married.
hasn't.
Okay.
She
Maybe
hasn't.
she's
Okay,
Does she
dating.
desire to
let
have
me
all these
ask
children by different men?
let me ask you guys a question, because this is what it seems like we mostly agree on at this point. We seem like we agree that most men want, especially black men, we would say that most black men do want a feminine woman, and her sexual prowess isn't really an issue as long as she's attractive and beautiful and she's submissive and feminine. Would y'all agree to that?
Somewhat.
Yeah,
Not. That's not true all the
nah,
time.
it's
A
kind of
dude, a dude don't want to. As long as she can hide it
no.
well, he don't mind.
I
But
have a follow up
even
to
if you
that
find it, you
actually.
don't want to
Exactly.
open. You don't want to open. You don't want to open friendly female.
Nope.
Right.
Well,
Nobody wants the known hoe. Most
well,
black
Okay.
men will
That's
give you
fair.
we'll give you credit for being a hoe, but as long as
mm,
you stop being a hoe by the time you get to me and your whole past don't catch up to me. If I
okay.
take you around somewhere and my boy done hit it already, your whole past caught up to
Yeah,
me.
exactly.
You see
Well,
what I'm
Right.
saying?
Like
uh,
if the
let
whole
me
town or
piggyback
city
on
know
that
you a
question.
hoe, I wouldn't mess with you. I wouldn't
So
care how good you
on
look.
that same topic, we talked about like there is there one thing, like, you know, if you have a list of things, let's say she can't be overweight, she can't be promiscuous, she, you know, has to be an 8, she like is what are you willing to give up in
Men,
order to
men have
get
men have given up plenty because they don't require a woman to look the most attractive, and men let their wives get fat all the time. It's plenty of men that get married and the
that
wife
let their
get fat
wives
on
get
and she
fat?
stay with her. Men give up all
Okay.
kind of stuff.
So prior to marrying her though, like what things are you willing to sacrifice for, you know, to in order to find a good woman and you know, procreate and marry her? Like
Men
what
done,
things would you be willing to sacrifice?
men sacrifice just about everything. The only thing men usually want
Gosh,
is a woman that is attractive because that's gonna bring him to talk to her in the first place. If a woman is loyal to him, has good character, and she's good company for him, then he will more than likely marry that woman. And the average black woman just simply doesn't fit into those situations
Damn.
fast
Oh
like
shit.
that.
Come
It's simple
on,
as
homie.
that.
Like you keep
I'm
doing it
out.
to me, dude. Like, dude, you think that most black women aren't of good character? That's basically
Bro,
what you're
I
saying,
said
bro.
most black women cannot display
Hold on.
good
Quick
character
question.
for
Quick
the
question.
man they're dealing with. That's why they're not marrying them.
Quick question. Quick question. The dude, J.R. Lewis, where are you from, fam?
Actually, I'm from Central Florida.
Okay, so what's that? Orlando.
Yeah,
So you don't even have a big black
we do. We
community to
do.
pull from. Yeah, bro, y'all
We
mostly
do.
Hispanic down there, bro. I lived in Jacksonville. So come on, stop it.
It's very diverse.
The
Like there's
Latino or Latina community is bigger than the black community down
there's
there,
a
bro.
lot of
Come on, let's
blacks
not
out
do
here.
that.
Trust me.
There's
There's
But
not
a lot
more
of
than
blacks.
Latinos,
Mr.
bro.
Fantastic, Mr.
It's not
Fantastic,
just
it's not
it's
gonna
not just
matter
Hispanic.
because It's not gonna matter because at the end of the day, he can say whatever he want to say. They still unmarried women.
Yeah.
Once he say anything he want to say, they still unmarried.
Hey, you know what? Hey,
And
that's a good point too. So so in Orlando, who more women do you see married more often? Do you see more married Latina chicks or more married black chicks?
it's about even, bro. I can't tell
You're
you
lying, bro.
A lot of
You're lying.
Hispanics don't even have
because
state sanctioned
Hispanics.
marriages. So how would you even quantify that?
Like
You're lying, bro.
if I could
It's
make a guess,
it's a,
it would probably be Hispanics, but they have a different culture
You
as
ain't
far as
gotta make a guess, man. You know what the answer is.
because I can't tell you an honest answer because I really don't know.
it
It would
don't
be
matter.
Well,
It
bro,
don't
you
anecdotal
can
matter
from
if
open
they
your
everybody.
are.
eyes and know. But either way, like I said, I'm not gonna make it like a one-on-one thing. The whole
Yeah,
point is this, man. At the end of the day, man, look, dudes are extremely simple. Just know that he wants the best possible deal for him, and for a man, the best possible deal is like looks, cooperation, and shit like that. A man's not asking that a woman come to the table making six figures. He's not even asking to come on to the table that she's in fit and she's got the best body out in town. She's gonna stay that way for the duration of the marriage. Hell, he's not even asking her to and nowadays, be a housewife and clean up and cook every day, cook a meal 5 to 7 days and nights of the week. Bro, a dude just want a female to like say, hey, we gonna actually do this thing for life. We gonna come together, and we gonna bring together and make a team that's able to last long. But again, like I say, when
You
you have this thing, my bad, go ahead.
No, you're right. I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but you're making it. I think you're simplifying it you're reducing it to such a simplistic
No, I'm
point
that, I'm trying.
that
I'm a
if
man.
that
I'm
was the
trying to.
case, black
I'm literally
women
telling
would
you from a
be.
man's perspective. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's really that simple. But when you talk to the women we're talking about, they're that uncooperative. They have that, especially when you get to the sexual prowess aspect of it. They're very let's just say unwise with their decisions, and it comes back to bite them in so many things. Again, you got to think about it. I know it's not 72% of all women, but when you have, I think when you count the women that do have children, it comes up to around like 30%. 30+% of women have children that are out of wedlock. And then within those 72% of women that do have kids have multiple kids. I think it was something like 40 odd percent. So that'll bring it down to 10% of the women out of the 30 that actually have multiple kids by multiple dudes and have never ever been married, have never ever received a ring. So again, if that's the quality of woman you have to pick from, what is that saying about the women, the type of women we're talking about here? No other demographic even comes close. No other women, not even close. That's what I'm saying. So like I said, we're talking about millions upon millions of women here. So again, that's not just in one certain region, that's nationwide. So if and when you actually take those numbers and those things, those facts into consideration, I mean, this is the question. This is the answer to your question. It may seem like it's very simple, but again, I don't see how black women can complain because, I mean, they're getting off the hook easy compared to any other group of women.
my thing.
Yo,
I think at the end of the day, when you look at those numbers, you got all these people running around. They baby mamas. They ain't never been married. The dudes, they're exposed to multiple men in their lifetime. They've been around dudes their whole life. Ain't nobody saying, let me get her a ring. And if ain't nobody doing it, what is it so hard to figure out that it's something about the woman that nobody wants to put up with for a
You
lifetime?
know, I'm sorry, but I have to rebut that because of the
Okay, how?
fact, Roger, these men aren't marrying other women either, though. They're not marrying, they're not choosing to
Because
marry. It's not
because
the women, it's the brothers that don't believe in marriage. They feel like it's they're
there's
being
some men that don't.
Well, that's
There's some
now.
men that don't
That's
believe in
now
marriage.
concrete rose. That's now because again, dudes are hip to the hustle. Like marriage is a bad investment for a man.
Wait a minute.
So that's
No,
why
Hey,
even with that
don't
though.
say that
a
shit.
lot of
Even,
these
no,
men,
no,
they
hold
don't
on,
even have.
hold on. No, she's trying to brush something onto me. It's plenty of men that would be willing to marry if they found a woman they felt was good enough to marry. Those men aren't finding them.
Oh my
and they'd be
God, man.
stupid. If you
So,
get married
so you're
today in
saying,
2020, you're stupid.
well,
So
hey,
how
hey,
can you
It don't make a difference at the end of the day there's still men that's willing to marry, period, regardless of the laws. Those men aren't finding women to marry, period.
I
That's why
wouldn't.
women are not
Well,
married, period.
no, I would disagree with that because if it's gone down as a whole, it's not a fact. Men probably see it more as a bad investment more than that they can find the women. So I don't really, because if you're saying that as a man, and I'm talking black, white, Hispanic, whatever. If
Yeah,
you're
Sister
saying
George is right about that. Exactly. It's down across the board. It's just lower for
yeah,
black people because black people have already
But
been lower.
but
But
black
I
people,
understand. I
it is more
understand that
to
it's
it than
lower, but I'm saying I understand that it's lower, and I'm not arguing that point. But at the end of the day, what do men do when this comes to marrying a woman? They meet a woman that they feel is so great that they'll marry her regardless. Marriage has never been a good deal for a man. Men have
no,
always
but you
calculated,
weren't
is this a good
aware.
risk or
No,
not?
no, 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 bro. The data, the information, and the stories of other men were not out there like they are today. Again, bro,
listen,
you
it's
got
black
people that are
men that
even
don't even
doing.
have anything to invest, that don't believe in marriage. They feel like it's you're being,
Yeah,
they're
No,
somehow.
I'm
Yeah,
not
it's
gonna
a
say
big
that's
part.
not true. But my point is, what about the men who are willing to marry though? They're not doing it either.
Can
yeah,
I say
because it's a
something?
bad investment. Go ahead,
Yeah, let
Ramon.
Leo talk.
So I'm 30 years old, right? And I want to get married and have kids, but honestly, I don't come across a lot of females that I would consider wife material. Not a lot of American black women, but I come across like women from other nationalities and ethnicities that are wife material, but I in particular want to be married to a black woman. But most of the black women I come across, they baby mamas, they hoes, they trifling, they try to use niggas that want that traditional marriage. So like the good black woman is like scarce now. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack, that you find a traditional woman who doesn't have kids and want to get married and have kids in wedlock. I mean, I talk to a lot of girls who are 20, 30 years old, millennials, and they don't care about getting married. And I've talked to maybe at least like a bunch of them, and a lot of these millennial women, they don't care about getting married at all because they don't believe in it either. And like Mr. Fantastic said, I agree with him. Like men are more aware of the games females play. They're more aware of the stats and the data and the numbers of all these failed marriages and the risks. Where back in
But
the day, you didn't know, you was just playing it blind. You was just going off the
you know
hearsay.
what? I think that I have to say this: women do adjust. Women adjust, and sometimes they adjust wrongly. Sometimes they miscalculate how their adjustments will play out. So the adjustment that a lot of women, a lot of new age women have made is to basically try to do everything that a man can do and try to do it better. The other adjustment that was made is there was a point in time when women did care about marriage and men still weren't marrying them in large, black men still weren't marrying them in large numbers. So now they're like, they've forsaken the idea of marriage. And I do think a lot of women probably, a lot of new age women probably don't
Hold,
care
hold,
about it.
hold on there, Concrete Rose. What do you mean black men weren't marrying in large numbers? Black men were marrying black women at 90% rate, and they were
I
more
ain't talking
married black
about my
men than
great
black
great
women.
grandma now. I'm talking about in my lifetime,
Even in your
like
life,
the
well, you know that
90s and
the divorce, the last big divorce boom for the black community happened in the late 80s, early 90s. So
yeah.
again, but even then, since then, the numbers haven't dropped for black men. Black men have still been getting more married than black women, and they've still been marrying black
Not
women
by a
at a
large
90%
margin,
rate.
but I
Yes, they are.
mean, no.
But what
No, they're not.
It's
what's
over
happening?
500,000 more married black men than there are black
Come
women,
on,
bro.
like that's a
But
drop in the bucket.
Yeah,
but
Stop.
can I make another point though?
500,000? Are you serious?
Can I make another
Half a
point?
Overall,
Like
million? Half a million?
the the fact that you got more females that are hoes, men don't even see the need to get married because I can literally get a chick to do wifely duties with her just being a friends with benefits. And I'm like, if I can get a woman to cook, clean, and have sex with me whenever, and I don't even got to put a ring on it, what is the incentive to getting married? Women
so
are
And,
not
women
even
are
and
giving
hoes, but they're still
women are
cooking and
not.
cleaning.
Yes, they're
yes,
not
That's
giving men
interesting.
concrete.
any.
I mean, I
They're
don't know. I was asked. I was genuinely
they're
asking.
not they're not really giving men any incentive to get married when you're doing all the wifely stuff anyway, even if I don't take you seriously. So there's no incentive no more to for a man to get married unless he just wants to for whatever reason for himself. Back in the day, my grandfather used to tell me that uh, men used to get married because they had to work to get sex. They had to work to get a woman to cook and clean for them on the daily like that. They had to, court them, romance them. You know, even the music in that time and era in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, they displayed that you had to like court a woman and be good to her to get her to do all these things for you. But now, I could just hop on Tinder for a couple hours and swipe right until I get a girl that I could get cook, clean, and have sex with me all weekend. So what is the sense of getting married
That's
if you
insane.
got all these women out here that you could just have easy access to on a regular? There's no incentive
Well,
anymore.
I'm going to tell you the incentive of getting married, right? And
Okay.
fantastic should agree with me on this. At the end of the day, everybody does get to a point where we grow older. We get older. We get tired of the same hustle and bustle. Of course, I would honestly say I don't think women want multiple penises at a certain point. At a certain point, men's penises don't work. Somebody's gonna have to wipe the
True.
dribble off your goddamn chin. You're gonna want somebody there to take care of you, but you're gonna want somebody that you've actually built something with, as opposed to being 60 and still out here in the club trying to get a young asshole that you aren't sure
That's
that
true.
really loves you or really wants to take care of you. So
True.
at some point, marriage does become beneficial.
And I do think
But
that there's
that's why
also
men
legacy
wait for a while to get
people who
married,
also
because they
believe
can
in their
have all the
Well,
fun they want until
and
they
they
actually
want to
want to do
improve
that.
the conditions in their community.
well, I mean, I agree.
Another
My
incentive to
bad.
get married is when most of us are working, most couples, the woman just doesn't stay at home. So another incentive is the financial benefit that would come from getting married. If you're making
Sister
80 and
George,
True.
though,
Don't you want to build
Sister
with
George,
somebody?
how come you have women complaining about, oh, I don't want no 50-50, but then they're talking about the finances they're gonna bring? What
well
finances are you
now
gonna
now
bring if
I
you
would
don't want a 50-50 relationship?
well let me
His
be
demand
honest
the
with you.
50-50
Let me be
relationship.
honest with you.
50-50
Most
does.
women Well, let me finish this. Most women don't want a man that she feels that she's going to have to take care of financially. Most women
When they
don't
get
want
older,
that.
hold up. When they get older, but don't tell her the truth now. But y'all are
Now,
definitely rent a you know what for
but
in your
when we get older,
before
we
30.
do become when we get older, we
That's
do
out of
become
desperation.
more I would say I wouldn't necessarily even say out of desperation, but at the same time, like I said, when a woman gets older, she's not going to want multiple penises. She's going to
If
want to
she
be
has
settled
other
at some point.
options, I can't see
Okay,
her
but
being willing to pay
Sister
for it.
Joyce, I think you missed what I'm saying. You have women bragging about their education and how much money they got, but then they're complaining about having to go 50-50.
I think
To
that
me,
when
that's
Yes.
women complain
contradicting.
about having to go 50-50, they're talking about split the bills equally. That does not mean that her income is not 50% of the household income. Maybe her income, part of it is used for vacations or for investing or for, maybe, other things, maybe in putting back into the home. But I think that I do see a lot of women complain about that. And I think that in today,
Yeah,
whatever the
like
reasoning is.
50-50 doesn't necessarily mean we're going to split the bills all the way down the middle. It could mean I pay for all the bills and you take care of all the financial stuff for the kids.
And
50-50
I
can mean
see,
I pay
but
for
But
the
even
bills,
I
you
hear
even
plan
at
women
for
the
the
say
end
that
of
family
they're
the
trips and
fine
the
with
gifts and
that.
all that.
I
but
hear
even
women
at the
say
end
that
of
they're
the
But
my
fine with
bad.
that.
but y'all don't. But the thing is I listen to a lot of y'all and y'all don't present it like that. Y'all present it
Yeah.
like y'all just want the man to pay for every single thing, and you have to really not do
And
nothing to
that's
take care of the
okay if
kids.
she
I
thinks
honestly
that.
think that's kind of disingenuous because most women that I've talked to now, don't get me wrong. If we can get a man to pay all of the bills
Mm-hmm.
and we were financially able to do that, then that's fine. But if the man is paying the mortgage, the car notes, insurance, and all that shit, most women that, especially if a man chose to marry a woman and they've established things up top, I don't think most women would have a problem with putting in on some of the bills. But now, what I will say, a lot of men who want you to go 50-50, I feel like these men want total say over the household and is looking for full submission from a woman. But if
But
I'm
you know
paying, If I'm
But
Oh, I'm
paying
sorry. Go
half the
ahead.
bills, if I'm paying half the bills and I'm doing the work around the house and I'm paying half the bills, I'm not gonna say it's hard for me to be submissive, but it would kind of give me like a cause to kind of look at the guy
But
with the
I
side
think
Hey,
that's
eye.
but
new
with that,
age thinking because
no, but
I
you
mean,
know
to
the funny
me,
thing is,
if you're
the funny thing
married,
is,
you should
uh,
be fully amalgamated and your income should be one. Like whatever I'm bringing into the house, I'm bringing it to our home and this is for us. Like I don't look at, and I think that people have the completely wrong attitude. If you're going into something and you're building with someone and you intend on marrying them, why are you having this separate but equal attitude? Like the income is supposed to be the household income. That that you should be concerned about the income coming
Because
into the
motherfuckers
house.
argue.
And
Because
50-50 is better than you paying 100% of your own damn
hey, that's
bills.
what I'm. You beat me to it, country road. That's all I was gonna say. Even if it's 50-50, I mean 50-50 is better than 0-0-100. So
Right.
again, if you have a
that's
man
true
that's willing
too.
to come in and whatever, which I really don't agree with 50-50. I mean, the most the lowest I've ever gotten it down to is like I think what 73-27.
7:30.
All right. Yeah, yeah. That's and I hadn't even reached 70-30. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to like you said, just the whole finances is a big thing, man. And like I said, I done had arguments back in the day where I was paying the mortgage. I always paid the mortgage, paying the car note, and like I said, up to 90% of the bills. And then still you had this argument of well, all you do is pay this, and all you do is pay this, and I'm like, well, are you fucking kidding me? Are you serious?
Yeah.
So that's what happens, and y'all wonder why men snap because it's like, are you really
Yeah.
willing to sit up here telling me that all I do is what the fuck you mean? It's 90%, 90+%. What do you mean all I do? And
See, and
it's
that's
never.
kind of wrong. Like, how do
Right,
you
and
expect to keep all of your money and pocket it as pocket change and spend it in any way in which you will, but you expect him to be investing into the home, with all of his money? That's
and
unfair.
can
Well,
I
no,
can I make
it's
another
not even.
point?
Hold on, real quick, and then you got it. It's not just like keeping the money or whatever. Just again, just dismissing the weight and the fucking level of responsibility, financial responsibility that the man has always had, and you reducing it to, oh well, you just do this or you just do that, and so on and so forth. And it's just like, you ungrateful motherfucker. Are you serious? Like, I mean, do you know how many females out here wish they had a dude that could even, for one, could even live in a house because you have a home, not a fucking apartment, at least an apartment, and then to have pay fucking 80% of the bills and all this other things. But that's just stuff that happens over time as you get married. You know what I'm saying? You gonna have arguments, you have discussions and things like that. And then, but women really don't have an understanding or perspective. They never had to do it. If you always came into a situation where the man's taking care of everything to you, you know, a couple $1,000s here or there, that you've never had to spend, don't mean shit to you. It's just like, oh well, nigga, you doing your job, which I can understand that too. As a man, you're supposed to be the provider, from the financial aspect and all those sort of things. But that's it. That's what I tell people, man. When it's that lopsided, and that's when they was like this 100 nothing shit. I was like, bro, that shit sounds good, but unless you like some really one of these 6-figure niggas, and that's a 6-figure nigga living in somewhere like Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, that shit's gonna get old, bro, because you're gonna get care of everything. And like you said, all your money goes to taking care of everything. And nobody does shit to motherfucker even, what I'm saying, get you a motherfucking set of socks for Father's Day type shit. So that's my whole thing.
Okay, I want to give Chaos Rain a chance to weigh in. Chaos, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up?
What do you think about the topic?
Oh gosh, let me see what top says. Get a black man honest about. To be fair, we're not really honest in our mate selection. We just want a chick that's badass, big titties, and probably give some good head in the side, and shut the fuck up. That's a dream for a lot of niggas on the average, ladies. If you can't do that, most likely you're gonna be one of the things, baby mama or jump off. It's one or the other. There's no getting around it in the 21st century. These niggas ain't gonna marry y'all. They just gonna, what's the old saying? Pump and dump. That's
Mm.
that motive. Let's check up. Let's split off of this. Let's be mates. Without no contract involved. Anytime it does go sour, I could just pack up and go. No ties. and you better not put me on no fucking child support. You get me? I'll find you. You know what I'm saying?
Concrete, check your messages.
Okay. And I know Leo wanted to chime back in regarding. He was cut off regarding his last point.
So
I was just gonna say that
that's how
paying 100% of the bills doesn't mean the women, because black women sell it like that. They sell it like, oh, if you pay all 100% of the bills, I'm gonna be the most feminine woman ever to you, and that doesn't make them be feminine to you. I know plenty of dudes who are broke or go 50-50 with their girl, and their girl is still submissive just because they know they got a good dude. So, I think that's a misconception that black women kind of like promote, like, oh, if you pay all the bills, I'm gonna be submissive to you now.
If a woman is promoting that,
wait a
you
minute.
should be wary. Like, that's some mess.
But you know what? This is the thing. This is what black men are telling us that other races of men are getting. Black men are saying that, okay, these men go out and provide, and these women are submissive in whatever, because they have a man that's able to provide, and that these women are just more respectful because their man can provide. And so what I'm seeing that these movements are pushing, we're going to build and we're going to go get other races of women.
No,
because let me finish my point. Let me finish my point.
Okay.
Like I said, what I'm noticing is these men are saying, okay, we're going to build, and then we're going to go get women that are submissive. So when we're paying all the bills, we have these submissive women, and these women are going to be submissive because we've worked on ourselves, we've improved ourselves, but we got the bag, and we're willing to provide. So I don't know about that.
But
the thing is,
what I said, right? I was not joking when I was saying it.
Yeah, I get it. A caveat of your submissiveness should not be that a man is paying a degree. Like, if you're submissive, naturally submissive, it shouldn't be at the behest of you paying all the bills. I mean, that's just crazy to me. Like, I don't understand.
It's a trick hole relationship. It's a trick hole relationship. Submissiveness is a character trait. Right. Ain't got nothing to do with what a man is doing.
Facts.
Period. No, and men have not been talking about these other women are going to be so much more submissive to us. They simply said they're not getting a good deal with black women, so we're going to go elsewhere. They don't even know what they going to get, but they know they ain't getting a good deal with black women. That's what they do know.
I mean, like, what do you mean by submissive? Like, do you mean somebody
this ties in with SYSBN. Like, in other races and cultures of women, they're not submissive to that man because he's a provider. Just because of that, they're submissive just because he's the man. That's it. Just
they were raised to be submissive.
Right, and that's the difference. Because I've dated like non-ADOS black women mostly, and they were submissive just because I was a man. Even if I didn't have shit, they were submissive to me. And I think a lot of guys like that because it's like from the jump, you're already getting that respect as a man for just be willing to be with this woman and take care of her. So I think I think what women fail to understand is why it's more appealing. Other races of women are more appealing than American black women because it's like they're doing more stuff than you guys.
They don't want to understand. They don't want to understand.
They're doing more stuff than you guys. Like my brother's fiance is My brother's fiance is Guyanese, right? So she's a West Indian black woman to me, and she cooks and cleans every single day. And when she's not home, she gets her mother to come over to their house to cook and clean for him. Tell me, I've never heard of American black women doing anything like that.
Can I ask you a question, bro?
And this is a competition. It's a competition.
Is that Guyanese woman? Was she Guyanese? Leah.
Guyanese.
Man, you know what? Let's not make this about one person. At the end of the day, it ain't just about no submissiveness. Men are complaining that they don't like black women. Black women are trying to argue everything but the fact that they're not liked. Because they don't want to deal with the fact that they're not liked. It ain't just about submissiveness. It's about you're not good company. Go ahead,
So
Joe.
answer the question. Why do you feel black men don't like black women?
Because they're argumentative. They're more trouble than they're worth. They want to be the man of the relationship. They want to lead men instead of have the men lead them. They want
Right.
to spend money on whatever level that man is on. They want to spend money at a higher level. They want him to be in positions. They don't have any problem putting him in a bad position when it comes to something financial or with his job or with his business. They are uncooperative in general. Black women aren't liked by black men. And that's where our
Well,
problem is. It ain't about just no submissiveness.
God damn, Rocket.
No,
What
no.
a
The
good
truth, the truth is the truth, man.
like us.
If black men like black women like that, the marriage rates would be up.
I don't think
No,
it's
I,
just
So,
because of
so
that,
wait,
I
a-
bro.
don't.
wait a
I
minute,
don't.
wait a
A
minute,
lot of
wait a
it,
minute, wait a minute. I want to ask the men on the panel and in the chat. Put a one in the chat if you agree with what Roger said, and then I want the men to answer this question. Um, do y'all agree with what Roger said?
Me, not entirely. I understand where he's coming from. The thing is that black women, American black women, think they're the best women for us just because they're a black woman. I have been treated better by other women of other races and other ethnicities. So it really is a competition of who's the best woman. And you got to be willing to compete. You could compete by being feminine and submissive, looking good, keeping in shape, and just doing the simple things that we ask and letting us lead, just like acquiescing. But you have a lot of black women who don't want to do that. Even if you are paying everything, like you're paying 100% of the bills, they still want to be the boss. They still want to wear the pants. I don't care what they're saying. That's in most relationships, that's what they still be doing a lot of the times.
Oh, well,
So
let me interject one thing real quickly, Anthony. See, it ain't about what black how black men are going to answer the question of do they like black women? Did they behavior stay different? Are they married to these women? Have they found this woman that was that great and they've married? And is that even close to a 50% level? The answer
no,
is no. So people can
but
say whatever they want. Their actions are talking.
But Roger, here I'm gonna say this: is just that American black women don't understand that they're not treating us better than other women. They're
No,
not.
I
They
get
think
that, Leo,
they think they just are by default because they're a
no,
black
Leo,
woman.
I understand that, but my thing is that's why we need, in order to improve stuff, we got to put focus on what the actual problem is. The problem is the fact that the men don't like them in general. They don't want to be around them.
No,
They don't.
I can't
No,
say that. You saying black
let's be
women,
realistic.
period?
They're not they're not liking them enough to the point they're trying to get married to them and build families and the whole enchilada. They're not doing
They
it. So why
they
are
don't
they
like the
not doing it?
behavior. I wouldn't say they don't
However,
like black
however you
women.
want
They
to
just don't like their
classify it.
behavior.
Okay, so however you want to classify it, because this is not saying black men just hate black women. This ain't what's being said. They don't
We
like
hate their
them enough.
behavior. We
They
hate their
don't like.
attitude.
No, I'm saying they don't. However you break it down, it's still they don't like them enough to make the commitment. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. And black women want to talk about everything other than their behavior so they can scapegoat it to something else. If men like
Right,
them, they be with them like that.
So, Roger,
right.
let me ask you this question. With marriages going down in all races, with
Mm-hmm.
marriages decreasing in all
Uh huh.
races,
Mm-hmm.
would you still say that the problem is black women? Because what I'm saying is, if it's gone down in all races and men are saying
Mm-hmm.
that getting married is a sham because they
Mm-hmm.
lose more in the end, would you
Mm-hmm.
still say that it's still black women's problem that they aren't getting married?
Yes, but because your problem of not being married is somebody not marrying you, not marrying every other woman. They did marry you. So at the end of the day, black men been dealing with a bad option when it comes to marriage a long period of time. But if that man ain't got no faith in you to be his wife, to stay with him and actually be good in that marriage relationship, he's not going to take that risk. But black men, there's plenty of black men who've taken that risk because they had some type of belief in that woman. They don't have that belief
Yeah,
anymore.
but Roger, it's not like they're getting married to other women either. Black men don't believe in marriage.
It,
It's like a ball of
cause, cause,
twine. They
cause
feel
black
like they're
men
going to
are
be
race
shackled to
loyal.
someone.
They're more race. They're race
We
loyal. They
are.
can't find what they want.
They are.
If a black man is
Oh
if a
fuck! What
black
the fuck
man
is
is
this
Wow.
single,
conversation?
Let me
if a
sit
black
back.
man is
Fuck.
single, when he could easily go marry somebody else to get all that extra treatment that he wants, and he ain't done it, Obviously, he race loyal.
That's not obvious. The man may
That
not
sure
just believe
isn't.
in marriage
Obviously, he doesn't believe
anyway.
in marriage. He doesn't. They don't believe
The
in marriage. It has
the
nothing.
the,
And you know what? Marriage
the
is
average
becoming a
man is
thing
gonna
of the
marry.
past.
The average man is gonna marry the woman he feels is worth it. If he ain't came across her, he ain't gonna do it. That's just what it
You're
is.
reaching, Roger. You're reaching. Come
No,
on
I'm
now,
not
bro.
reaching. If you
Yeah.
talk to any married man, you can talk to any married man,
Child,
especially one that's
Roger
been
got
married
one of
for a
those
while.
extended arms, honey. He got one of
Any
those. He
married
reaching
man,
hard.
Literally.
any
Wait,
married
Roger,
man gonna
like,
tell you he
okay,
thought it was worth it.
Roger, what are
Every
you trying to
married,
say?
what
Like,
is any married man gonna say that he didn't think his marriage was worth taking that risk?
okay, what are you trying to connect that to? Like, what is the statement you're making?
The statement I'm making is if a man finds a woman that he feels is worthy of marriage, regardless of the setup and the law and all that type of stuff, he'll take that risk anyway.
That's not always gonna happen, bro. That's not always
Oh,
gonna happen.
nothing is 100% of the time, but at the end of the day, that's what men have
But
done
the problem is
for
that
the longest period of time.
when you make statements like that, you act almost like it is. That's not
No, bro.
necessarily true. Like, there's all types of reasons why somebody might not want to marry somebody at a certain time. But they might not have the money. They may
That
want to
means
like
you
pursue
agree
their
with
career,
me.
a different
You're
goal in life.
agreeing with me. You're agreeing with me, man. Because
I'm
at
not
the end
agreeing
of
with you. I
yes,
just
you
point
are.
out
You
all
don't
the
even
different
realize
things
you're
you're saying.
agreeing with me. No matter what's going on in that person's life, if he feels the woman is worth it, he's going to do it. So if he
Dude,
can
that's
say
not true.
everything, if he can say anything else is more important than that woman, if his job is that big of a deal, if his other options are that big of a deal, if he happens to have kids and his kids are that big of, well, you can say whatever you want to make the big deal is why he's not doing it. But at the end of the day, he didn't see her worth taking the risk. Period.
And let me say this, Roger, because you
That's
said
really
that our men are race loyal. That is absolutely positively
Sure they
in
are.
mother
Sure they are.
freaking correct.
Because
Sir,
all culture.
black men date out way more than us.
I'm not saying they don't.
But that's not so that's they wouldn't be more race loyal than the black women.
That's
Black
I
women,
I
black women
wait,
are
agree.
Roger.
Can I
Can I
explain?
oh
jump in?
my god.
Can I explain?
Sure.
let me say
I'll
this real
here.
quick.
I'll try to explain
Let me say
in
this
my
real quick.
way.
Black
Okay.
men have always developed culture in any community. Every community is about the male culture. When wars are fought and people lose, whatever the women was of the other community, they are now transferred into the new community. Men have always established community, period. Men dictate where their races go, period. That's not a female thing. Period. Yes, there's a lot of black women who don't date out, but we do understand that it's a lot of them that can't date out. So what they can do and what they want to do is two totally different things. Go ahead, Leo.
Most black men's first choice for a woman is a black woman. So whenever I hear, oh, he wanted to date out because that's what he always wanted to do, I'm like, that woman probably has never talked or got to know a dude that dated out because of lack of compatibility with black women. Like that's like my cousin who was a big nerd. He was into anime. He's in Staten Island in a predominantly white school. He had a few sisters around that he liked. None of them gave him play for 4 years while he was in high school. So he
So
started dating white girls. So he
so
started dating out because he wasn't getting any play for the sisters, but his first choice was a black woman. That's most black men's first choice. When they date out, it's
And
either because it's either
they
because of
didn't get the black
proximity.
women that they want.
No. It's either because of proximity or, like you said, they couldn't get. Not. It's not. They couldn't get a black woman they didn't want. They couldn't get a black woman. Period. There's some dudes who are nerdy
that's
and
only one segment.
you know what I'm talking about, like a Steve Urkel or Donald Glover type of
That,
dude that most
That's
black
one
women
segment.
are not attracted to, and they get no play from black women. And then when they date out, they're like, "Oh, you wanted to date out because you always wanted to date out." That's bullshit.
I
His
know
first
some
choice
fine
was a
brothers who date out. Like that's one segment. One segment. Yeah, they might not be getting play from the black women that they desire play from.
no from black women. Period. Not just the one they desire. Black women.
I
Period.
actually think that if they went, but we'll sit up here and lie and say that these men want the big wholesome girl who goes to church every day. They don't want those kind. They want a certain type. So if those women aren't an option, then I feel like that's the problem. But to sit that these men would, if there was a good girl presented to them, but she was fat or she was unattractive, they aren't gonna marry those women for the most part. Most men do want a nice
Actually,
looking woman.
No, but my point is that,
Wait, let me correct
and the
you.
reason why is because black women don't understand this because they don't have to deal with this. Any
Let me
black woman,
Daniel,
no matter how bad she look or how unattractive she looks, can always get a black man. Any black woman. It doesn't matter if she's a one, but you do have
I
some
absolutely
black.
disagree with
Let
that.
me,
You
let
do
me
have
correct you.
some brothers who literally get no play at all
You
from
you
black
do
women.
know there are weird black women who are weird and nerdy and love
Exactly.
anime and all that type of
They
stuff
get
too.
black men. They get nerdy
Emo
black
black
men.
women.
That's
Oh
not
But
true,
god.
bro.
they
Let me
get
say
nerdy
something.
black
Hey,
men.
George,
That's not
now you
true.
talking about so the
And
ones
they
that are old fat and black and they don't get picked. They might not get picked by a brother, but you sure know the brother's gonna pick them fat obese
See,
white women. That's
Danielle,
for sure.
I don't know if
Yeah,
you
So
see
that's not the
this in
case if they
Mississippi.
from a fat
Wait a
brother.
minute,
know,
wait a minute, Concrete, go ahead.
you know the black women, the black girls, like I know because I went to school with girls like this who always have like the horrible weave from Sally's Beauty Supply
Hmm.
store, and they're really awkward, and they wear the
Hmm.
skater shoes and the dark eyeliner, and
With the
yeah,
leave out,
brothers
it's two
are not
different
checking for them. Brothers, they
not
ain't talking.
they
okay.
still get they still get uh piped out by
We
brothers though.
They can get
Nah,
piped out, but they're not being chose all the way,
But
Leo.
that
Don't We
but
can't
that's
front on
no, but
that,
that's
man.
look, but the other dudes who aren't getting chose at all, they're not getting any sex, any play, any attention, anything. That's
Leo.
way different.
Leo, I know this is anecdotal, but the black girls that they're talking about, I know a few of them personally. Girls like that, and they're all virgins. So, like,
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
what you're describing, that happens to black women too.
But you know
Oh,
what?
okay.
But
No,
they'll
but
have
the thing
black
is
guys
Yeah,
that
man.
are,
And I'm fucking the
but
nerve.
they're
they'll
gay
still be able to
merchants.
get a black man.
Why
Maybe not the
you
one
do
they
They're
it
gay
want,
like
but
that?
not
So
merchants,
why aren't
and
they
they
but a
getting
have
black
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 men
man.
then?
Hey, I
guys.
just y'all just don't want that. Matches Becky
Exactly.
married and she carries me. You gonna put it in her all day, every day. You gonna dick that sound like
Okay, let me ask the fella, but would you agree that even an unattractive, like a big, fat, 300-pound black woman can still get a black man?
But
yeah.
let me
Anybody
say it
can
like
have
this.
sex,
Let me
bro.
Man,
say
I'm
it
gonna
like
tell you
this.
why.
From my
Leo,
opinion,
this
most
this
people
will
can have
solve the
sex.
whole
Period.
situation. We cannot argue that black men have a trouble getting any black woman, but then come and say a black woman can't get no black man. You can't have it for the men, or he absolutely nobody will talk to him, but then gonna say, well, there's women that absolutely nobody will talk to. You can't get it like that. It's either people are willing to talk to him or they're not. I mean, I can
Wait a
You
fuck
a
a
minute.
girl.
What
crackhead
does
right
that
now. Would that
even mean? What
Yeah,
does
I'm
that even
if
mean?
we
lost,
if
bro.
we're gonna
Like,
if we're
Yeah, I'm
going to
confused.
say if we're going to say there's a black woman that no man will marry or do anything with, then the same thing has to be true for a black man.
well,
It's either all or nothing.
so you're saying that the nerdy black guy doesn't get married because he
No,
wants
I'm
to
not
get
saying
married,
that.
but
I'm not saying that.
So
I'm
he
just saying
wants big booty
if we're
No,
gonna
bitches
have
but
out
a
let
total,
him
Rod,
finish.
can
Let
I?
him finish. Hold up. Let
I'm
him
not talking about
finish.
any specific, but if we're gonna say there's any group of person that cannot get a woman at all, then it has to be a woman that who cannot get a man at all. If we're not going to say that, then everybody can get somebody.
Well, we
No,
weren't the
there's.
ones making that
Can I
argument, though.
respond to Roger Report?
Yeah,
There's no
sure. Go
such
ahead.
thing. There's no such thing as a woman who can't get a man. As
E-
long as she has a
Exactly.
vagina, she can
That's
get a
true.
man. As
Exactly.
long as she got a vagina, don't matter how she look, how big
Mm-hmm.
she is, how masculine she can get a man
You know
just
That's
what?
because
true.
she
Y'all
got
are
a
saying that.
vagina.
I have an example. Gabby Sidibe. You see what she had to do
Hmm.
to get a man?
She can get a man
That
though.
one.
She had to
She
go
can
Yes,
through
get a
some
sir.
She
time.
You
couldn't
man.
gotta
get
build
she
that
couldn't
man
get
up,
the
though.
She
black man.
couldn't
Not
She
get a
that
got
one.
brother.
No,
child.
She
she
yes,
gets
she
she
could
can
with
get a
her.
She
black
can get
man,
a black man,
she could have
she
got
can't
a
get the black man she
homosexual.
wants.
Right. She could have got a homosexual. She didn't want one.
Oh
I
my
mean,
god.
dude, of course it's
And
easier
just
for
like
women.
these black men could get fat black women, y'all don't want one.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
why trip?
But Danielle, they'll sure get a nice non-black woman that's fat. Obese. That's fat.
Yeah. Now see
This
a
is facts.
Put it
a
right in
black.
her arms. Say, look at my trophy. Mwah.
But the thing is, there's black men that aren't valued as much in the black community, and they can get a much more attractive looking woman out of from a different group of people. I mean, it was one all in my face just yesterday. I didn't want her because she was black. She didn't know that. She was throwing shoes and signals all over the place.
Wait a minute. So you didn't want her specifically because she was black, Roger?
Yeah, if I deal
The
with women,
fuck?
if I deal with one,
Man,
if I
bro.
if I deal with women, especially if it's something outside of sex, so anything beyond sex can lead into marriage, in my opinion. Therefore, you don't start relationships with people that have no chance. I don't do that. I don't need to start a relationship with a person who ain't got no shot.
So she didn't have it. Why didn't she have a shot?
She wasn't black.
Oh, you
I
said
thought
she
you said
wasn't
she
black.
was.
I thought you said she was black. I was
Was
about
she
to
bad,
say,
bro?
Oh, she
shit.
was bad. Yeah, she was bad.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Made special attention to make sure I knew where she worked, how to get there, the whole actual
Oh
how to
wow.
choose and
Where
I'm
signals
were
so
all
you at?
surprised you passed her up. We
Was she a
gonna let
Latina
y'all
or
rip
fuckboy?
tonight.
Oh,
Y'all
I
was stepping
cannot.
on your mama neck to get to him.
No, that's what you say to justify the fact that black women don't have to change their behavior.
That's not true. You need to stop
No,
pushing
no,
that rhetoric.
no. The truth is, there's just
That's
some
not
ugly
true.
people. There's ugly people that's gonna have a hard time, and there's fat
Mhm.
people that's gonna have a hard time. My thing is, let's just acknowledge that part because it is what it is. If you fat, you can't expect to get stuff like everybody else do. If you ugly, you can't expect to get stuff like everybody else do. And we should not try to use the extremes to say why somebody can't get this. If you ugly, you're gonna have a problem in any market you deal in. If you're fat, you're gonna have a market in
True.
any problem you
I
deal in.
agree.
Period. And there's a lot of fat black women, according to what the statistics say. And even though they don't measure black folks the same way they measure white folks, when you start talking about morbidly obese, there's still a lot of black women who fit into that category. At the end of the day, there's women who just not gonna get a man because they're not in shape, and they have a problem
So,
with the fact that fat black men can still get women because they can do other stuff.
okay, so Roger, let me ask you this question, right? So, would you say that black men prefer obese women?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Why would you even?
And a man will stick his dick in
They
one
prefer
because
Yeah,
that's what he can get at that
let
moment.
me
Probably, bro.
finish my Jesus Christ, let me say this. Would you say that black men are the like out of all men, black men are the ones who would marry the obese woman more than any other race of men?
No, I don't see black men taking fat women down the aisle. What I see is black men staying with women that got fat on them. I don't see fat women going down the aisle though.
Okay. 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 All right. Concrete, do you have anything else?
I mean, I really just think Roger got up here today on some mess. And I just want to say that. Like a lot, I mean, you were just pushing extremes all night. And I don't know if your goal was just to trigger, but I just feel like you got up here on some mess tonight. But
But
I don't have
I
any other
did.
questions for the panel.
Hey, I just want to say it's to Roger. I know that we disagree, but yo, I respect the hustle. I respect it. I haven't
Man,
argued with somebody like this in a long time. Like I'm
wait,
not
wait.
actually trying. Like what?
I dare you to tune into my stream. What I'm about to do tonight.
Hey, I like the
Oh
debate.
gosh.
Roger, I'm gonna
I
be
like
there
the
because
debate
you be
people.
going extra, man. But thing is, Roger, you just proved the point,
And
right?
surprisingly, J.R. Lewis is the one defending and actually speaking up for black women and saying that some of the crazy things that Roger was saying is not applicable to all black women. And I think he's the one that says he dates outside his race.
I mean, but that doesn't mean that I hate black women.
No, it absolutely does not. But I was just surprised to see you, and that's a good thing, coming to the defense of sisters. While Roger continued to throw us under the bus and back at us
I'm
and
not.
drive us crazy.
It's your
Ciao.
subject. You ask for a specific subject matter now. Don't say it's me throwing you on the bus because I'm responding to the actual subject matter now.
Now,
You
now,
pick the subject
Sick of this
matter.
shit.
now,
I'm
black men,
saying, bro.
now, black men don't
Concrete,
have
can
no
you hear
standards.
BGS?
Can you hear me?
No.
Yeah, I'm ready to listen to BGS because he said I made a point. And if he
Oh,
say
I
it,
want to
maybe
hear
y'all
Ugh.
gonna
it.
respect it a little bit more.
I'm gonna check out and come back up, Danny.
Okay, because I was like, damn girl.
No, and she might not be hearing me. Well, Roger made a point. You said that the white woman was doing what to you when she was sending choosing signals.
Oh yeah, all over the place.
She was sending it all over the place, right?
Hmm.
Okay, and but you didn't choose it because you wasn't into white girls, right?
Right, she wasn't black. That's just what
She
it
wasn't.
was.
In other words, but the thing is, what was she doing differently than black women do?
Oh man, we just met each other. She's smiling, being
Hmm.
nice, taking interest
Uh-huh.
in stuff, trying to extend the conversation more than what
Yes.
it had to be
Yep.
done,
Yep.
going out of her way to let me know about where
Yep.
she worked. I'm
Yep.
working at this bar tonight. I'll be
Yep.
here
Yep.
such and such time.
Yep. Yep.
She's all over the place with it.
Yep. And that is the reason that that other women are actually doing what? Coming in and taking men. They're cooperative. Okay, they're not just sending choosing signals. They're going out of their way to send you choosing signals.
So they're competing, huh?
They're competing. See, yeah, competing hard.
Mm,
You
thirst.
know,
And
you
what?
know,
Well, see. That's the thing. Okay, you guys call it thirst, right? Y'all call it thirst.
Yeah.
Okay, you call it thirst because you think that's supposed to be the man's role, right?
Yes, I do.
In,
Yeah,
in other
Absolutely.
for the
words,
most part.
in other words, we're supposed to. That we're just talking about why black men have to have game, right? Because we have to break down that barrier to get to. Even though you know you want to choose us, we have to prove to you that we're worthy, right?
It's not so much about being worthy.
Mm-hmm. Well, what is it?
I think that's just the courting style that we've grown accustomed to.
Exactly. If a woman that is extending herself and proving to you as a man that she really wants to be with you, why would that not be attractive to a man?
Well, that's interesting that you say that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that wouldn't be attractive to a man, and I'll let
Mm-hmm.
anyone else who wants to answer. But I want to throw this
Well,
I want to throw this.
well,
I
go
want to
ahead and
throw
dodge
this
that question,
statue
girl.
real
Go
quick.
ahead and
well,
dodge
let
that
me
question.
So
answer the question.
I just want to know really quick. Okay, so when he's done, so he can answer this. Why is it that black women are looked at as being too assertive and being aggressive when they are
That's where I was
forward
going.
and come at men?
Okay.
Because that's something black women say so they can
I've
come
never
up
heard
and
that.
trapped.
I've never
Black
heard
Oh,
that.
women say that all
I've
the
heard
time.
men say that, especially about women in the
I've heard
Northeast,
men say
like
that
New
too.
York area. And all that.
What? And they
Yes,
talk
I've
Okay.
heard
about
men
those
say that.
girls, how aggressive those women are.
There is a way to, like said, like said, say like what the white girl that Roger was trying to get at Roger, right?
Well, she was Mexican or something. I
Or
don't want to throw she was white. She was
okay,
like Latino or some
she's
kind.
Latina, right?
Yeah.
Would you classify her as aggressive?
No, she wasn't aggressive at all.
In other words, she it was subtle the way she was doing it, right?
Yeah, she was just trying to make sure I understood if I wanted to go down that road, it was open
Yeah,
for me.
and it was open for you. She wasn't trying to, come here, dude. I want to talk to you, and how come you don't want to talk to me? And I like you, and we could get together, and blah blah blah. She wasn't being aggressive. She was being subtle, but
Absolutely.
she was just making sure that she had observable choosing signals. Okay.
Could I
True.
comment?
I mean,
Could I
let me flip the question for the ladies. Okay, what's the difference between a man choosing you or courting you and being aggressive?
Well, I
Um,
think. Go ahead, Danny. You answer first.
It's a good question.
okay. You said between a man choosing us and courting us, right?
Or versus being aggressive. What is I know there's the line. Where's the line between
Not
being
taking
overly
no.
aggressive?
Okay, now if he's being aggressive and I'm not expressing interest and he's still coming at me, that would be being aggressive. Courting would be me agreeing to the situation to allow myself to be courted, in my opinion.
Okay. So now
So
Roger was open to it, but he didn't say that she was aggressive. In other words, there's a line between same words. There's a line between male and a man coming at a woman being aggressive. There's the same line with women coming towards the man being aggressive.
the common theme that I'm noticing in these conversations is that black women are not viewed as being like as charming and as
Because they're not.
charming and as using their
Because
femininity and their.
they're not.
Can I
Oh
comment?
wow.
So
Hey,
BGS,
let
They're
BGS,
not.
let me
Jojo's
ask
talk.
BGS a question. Let me
Mhm,
ask BGS a question.
mhm.
Would you agree that most men like to be seduced?
Like to be seduced? Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
Can I comment? Can I share? Just share something.
Sure.
We don't get it very often, but yeah.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Okay.
No, that's fair.
So recently I was at some party or whatever, and okay, well, before I start on that, I do agree. Sometimes the other groups of women, if they are interested in you, they're very aggressive. Okay, so I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago or something. I was at a party, and anytime I go to a mixed event or whatever, I normally give the black women my attention first, but they wasn't really reciprocating, and that's okay. I'm not like saying whatever. So I just went in my little corner, and then this white girl, she just comes over and like she just inserts herself into my space or whatever. And I was trying not to look too interested or whatever. I didn't want to be rude either. But then next thing you know, the black girls come hover over our conversation. Whatever. So I am familiar. I am familiar with that. Okay, but at the same time, I'm sure if I go back in my history, there have been instances where I've got that that behavior from black women too. It just depends.
We were encouraged at one point in time to play hard to get, to let a man court you.
Okay,
to
wait. Can
enable
I
him to show he's persistent?
Okay, but look. This is one thing we got to keep in mind. Okay, I'm not saying because we're black we have to put up with each other's black bullshit. Okay, but look. And I'm not saying this in a condescending way, like y'all don't already know this, but sometimes when I hear these conversations, I almost feel like you're disregarding like our history. Now, maybe that's going too deep with it.
It is going too deep.
Okay, well, let me just. I'll finish.
Make your point, bro.
Yeah, make your point.
All right. I'm saying that. All right. I think black people in general tend to be more difficult, regardless, with each other, men with men, women with. I think that's across the board. Okay.
Yeah, it's called Klingon. It's called Klingon relationship. Yeah, she was just saying that's where we're socialized, indoctrinated to go at each other that way. But go ahead.
Okay, but we didn't cause that though. So there has to be a certain level of tolerance for it. It just
Why?
Because we didn't cause this dynamic. We didn't make it this way. We've been socially engineered to interact this way. So those of us who are aware.
So let me ask you a question. So if gangbangers are shooting up the neighborhood, and we didn't cause the initial poverty and drugs to come in and all that and the history to go along with it, should we be a little bit more understanding why dudes come in and shoot up our neighborhood?
It'll help you understand the problem.
Okay, all right.
Can I finish my sentence, please? Thank you. Or should we correct the behavior?
Okay, well, there's different ways to interact with a situation. Okay, obviously we're not tolerating no shooting up shit. Okay, we're not tolerating that at all.
Okay,
but there's several ways that there's the direct way you handle it, and there's an indirect way you handle it. Indirect way to handle it is, hey, number one, this is what I always talk about: stop having kids all over the place. Like a lot of these.
You're going way off the weekend.
Okay, all right, I am.
Okay.
I am. I admit it. But look, Mr. BS, I feel like you're oversimplifying that. Okay, because there's different.
I'm not oversimplifying.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why you're oversimplifying it. Okay, because obviously nobody likes this gangbanging shit. Y'all, my fan just came out. Can y'all hear that?
Barely. Just go ahead, man. I took an extreme point to make you understand what I'm talking about. In other words, gang banging, shooting up a neighborhood is an extreme point, but I had to take you there so that you understand that you correct the behavior. Is the behavior negative and causing a bad outcome? Okay. What we're saying is now that black women have to compete for their men, they have to correct their behavior. Otherwise, you're going to have a bad outcome. It doesn't matter why it started. Yes, sir.
Mr. B, yes. Gangbangers shooting up the neighborhood, fucking the whole neighborhood up is clearly different than a woman having an attitude. Okay, an attitude. There's a spectrum of attitude, and that sometimes attitude is attractive. It just depends. Like I understand.
I should accept that.
Oh,
I
you
should
done
accept
fucked up
that
the
just
purpose
because
money. You done said the attitude is attractive.
In other words, you're talking about degrees. I just explained to you why I use that analogy. Okay, I just explained to you. It doesn't mean that a woman that is having a bad relationship attitude or bad relationship practices is the same degree. I explained to you exactly why I use that analogy. Okay, it doesn't matter. You have to correct the behavior. It doesn't
But
matter how you got there.
Okay, but that doesn't mean say, let's say, oh, the white woman is alternative though. That's not the correction. The correction is not let's get a white woman. That's bullshit.
true.
I didn't say
Yeah.
that.
But
I didn't say
I
Nobody's
want
that.
to
saying
chime
that.
in
But
from
Nobody
her
said
it's
that.
perspective.
implied.
It's or
It's
the
No,
women
no,
implied.
did.
okay,
The
let
women
okay.
did say that.
Hold on.
Can I
Let me
chime in for just a
no,
second?
hold on a second. I'm gonna get this straight. It's not
Go ahead.
implied, okay? I got. Do you have daughters?
No, I ain't got no
I
kids.
have two daughters. I have two grown daughters, okay, that I raised, okay. It's called bad behavior. Okay, when if you have to if I'm on if I've coached and I've coached basketball teams, okay, it doesn't matter that you don't know how to play. Okay, you have to get better, otherwise you're going to lose.
Of course, yes, sir.
So in other words, if you have a behavior that's going to have a negative outcome and you do not correct it, it's what's going to happen. You're going to lose. Okay. And
Of course.
at this point, the fence is down, especially in Los Angeles. I just put up a community post. Okay, if somebody if other women are exhibiting what we call a more positive behavior, and you, if I'm sure you sound like you're in your 20s. You're in your 20s.
No, I'm 31.
You're 31. Have you noticed that younger guys dating outside the race?
I
Have you
mean,
noticed that? Have you noticed that?
well, Mr. B, I didn't fuck white
Can you?
women.
I,
I didn't dated other races of
that's
women.
not the question that I asked you, sir. Have you noticed that?
Mr. B, just we've been dating different women. They
I
like
mean,
that.
they like it. So what I'm saying is, have you noticed an increase in them doing it? Because I
I,
have.
I don't know. You would know that better than I do.
In other words, I have. The thing is, what the only reason that we even here on Concrete Rose and Sister George's channel is because we're trying to get it across to black women that you have that complaining and talking about history is not going to change your outcome. It's going to get worse. That's why
It's
we're
important
here.
to understand the problem,
No,
though.
okay, no, that's fair. That's fair. All right, but at the same time, Mr. BGS, yes, you are trying to correct the behavior, okay? But there's a lot of people in this space, this SYM, whatever you call it, okay?
That's why SBM, yeah.
Okay,
What about them?
they are promoting saying, "Oh, fuck black women, just go get a
No,
white woman." Okay,
no, that's
no,
not what they're
Mr. BGS,
promoting.
there's a large element of that. Like we just can't. I'm like we just can't dance around that. There's a large element of that.
Dude, I talked Mad Bus Driver, Kirigakuri Jones, a whole bunch of SYSBM that I've been talking to for 4 years. Okay, I ain't just learned about this. They have been on my channel. They have been in my subs for like 4 or 5 years since I opened my channel up. You know what they tell me? They have been consistent about pick the best woman for you. Period. Regardless
BGS,
of race. Go ahead.
can you tag me in?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, look,
Tesseract.
in an ideal world, in an ideal sense, I agree
Can
with
you
that.
hear
Look,
me?
if we weren't living in the era of Trump and all these
Hold
honky
Wait a
on.
minute,
acting up,
Tedros, can you hear Benjamin?
Mr. Benjamin, testing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
No,
I
I
can
can't.
hear
Benjamin.
you. I can hear him.
Okay.
He's
Benjamin,
a
drop
little
out
low.
and come back in.
I can hear him, but he's a little low.
I heard
Yeah, I
him
can.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, if we could, we can go over why, this whole scenario about history and why at some point this is a 200-year-old pattern. When are we going to change it? When is it going to change? It's a 200-year-old pattern. This didn't just start yesterday.
I'm just simply saying, oh, pick the best woman. Like, look, in an ideal world, look, I would agree with that. Okay, I would agree with that 100%. But this ain't no ideal world. We got this dude as a president. We got
So what?
What do you
Okay,
mean?
Tezros, can I say something to you, brother? Because I understand where you're coming from. Your heart seemed to be in the right place.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna just tell you realistically, I'm a black man, bro. At the end of the day, I don't care where black women got the problem from. I'm not going to sign up to be with them, take care of them, spend my money on them, validate them, do anything I'm asked of them if they cannot be a good person for me to be with at the end of the day. I love black women to death. I'm related to good black women. I got a big family. I don't never have to make my plate when I go to a family event. All that stuff that men expect women to do, I got a family full of those type of women.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what?
Hey,
When I
tag
go
me in.
outside my family, I'm not going to be with somebody I don't like just for the sake of it. If I can't find a wife, I'll just give anything I leave behind to nephews and nieces. It's
Let
just
me
that
chime in
simple.
really quick. I've been trying to get in for like 10 minutes. I just want
Go
to say
jump
this
in.
really quick. He has a point regarding the source. So even if we are saying, okay, we need to address women, and black women need to be accountable, it is important to understand the source so that we
Mm-hmm.
can, deal with it. And like it's a hydra, we have to be able to kill the hydra. We have
Mm-hmm.
to understand the actual source. And
Mm-hmm.
I understand. Like I feel like we've gotten to a point that black women do need tough love. But it is interesting that, like, even when we think about our own people and how we deal with like crackheads, like when crackheads were coming up, like nobody respected them. There was no
Mm-hmm.
love and compassion for them. And then you look at the dominant society and how they deal with their drug addicts. Like I
Mm-hmm.
think that a lot of this is learned behavior. It's so easy to attack each other, but I think that we're doing exactly what they want us to do. And I
No,
would
we're
I,
not doing that.
Oh,
We're trying to correct the problem.
Concrete Rose. Let me tell you something, baby. I
yes.
grew up. That basically, I came of age in the beginning of the crack era. In fact, Free Ricky Ross actually grew up like a half mile from where I grew up, right? Okay, and we dealt with crackheads and on the street. Guess where they lived? They didn't live in the street. Guess where they lived? They lived in
Right
your
in the
house.
neighborhood.
They
Right.
lived in the neighborhood. They lived in the house. They had people
Right.
taking care of them when they're out on crack. They tried to those families and those people. They had treatment centers all over town that was actually sponsored by black people. They didn't have the
Mhm.
resources that white people have. We didn't send our crackheads to jail. White people did that.
True.
We
That's
didn't
true.
come down on the drug dealers. White people did that.
That's true.
We
I didn't
tried.
see.
We the trust and believe. L.A. was crack central. Okay,
Mhm.
it was crack central. We had strawberries walking up and down the street. They had places to go. They didn't live on
Mm.
the street. So we didn't throw. We
I
didn't
got a
throw. We
question.
might not. We were pissed off at them because they stole and they made the neighborhood bad. But the thing is, guess what? We still
Mhm.
took care of them.
See, I saw something different, but and of course I came out of a different generation, but my family lived in Chicago. So we would go to like the suburbs of Chicago, the heights and everything. And like they're
Hmm.
like the younger generation, they had no respect for a person that was on crack and the fiends that were walking around and stuff like that. So it
Oh,
was just different.
I understood why they didn't because a lot of their parents were on that stuff and they had to grow up in those households, so they lost respect for it because it made their lives hard. I can understand that
Right.
But
when
at
your
the end,
mama. Go ahead.
I ain't want to cut you off, but at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, people can get their respect back when their behavior changes. There's been plenty of people who've done bad things in
Hmm.
their life and they've turned their
Hmm.
life around and they've gotten respect again and they earned it
Okay.
again. Period.
I
So
feel you.
so the whole
I got a
thing is,
question.
why do we have to accept what we don't want? And even if my thing is take the other races off the table. If none of us go to no other race of woman, no other group whatsoever, no matter how you define it, it ain't gonna help you regardless if you're not what we want.
That's a good point.
Yeah, you know what the funny thing is, and Roger, I'm glad you said that. L.A. has this homeless problem, this big homeless problem, right?
Mhm.
And you know what? White homeless white people will actually get on the bus and come all the way to the black neighborhoods, right? So they can beg.
Mm.
And we asked him, why do you come all the way to the black neighborhood to beg? He says, because white folks ain't gonna take care of you. They're not gonna feed you. They won't give you anything. So we come to the black neighborhoods because they will at least feed you. They will give you $1. Okay, they might not like
Mhm.
it, but they will give you $1. So to say
Yeah.
that other races, especially white races, take care of their bums and their drug addicts, that's not true.
No, and I don't
Hey,
necessarily
can
that they
anybody hear
take
me?
care of them. They just show more empathy publicly. But go
I
ahead,
Who
can
was
hear
that
you.
Benjamin. I know
Yeah,
speaking?
I hear you,
you've been
Benjamin.
Can y'all hear
trying to
me?
get in.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
we can hear
Can y'all
you.
hear
Go
me?
ahead.
All right,
Yes, sir.
excellent.
We can
Yes.
we can hear you,
What's up,
Benjamin.
Sister George? I hear you. I hear you.
Go ahead.
But yeah, I'm about to. Tesseract, are you black, bro?
Who? You mean
The
Tedros?
Tedros, yeah. Are you black?
He's obviously he's
I
black.
can
Yeah,
No,
he's black.
I'm asking
I
him.
can be I can be a tesseract. I can be a tesseract. It's four
Are you
dimensional.
are
That's
you
fine.
black? Are you black?
I am black. I don't even know why you asked me that.
Okay, I'm gonna
Well,
tell you.
because
Hold on. I'm gonna tell you why I asked that.
okay.
Because I've seen you on this panel several times, and there's a recurrent theme in your talking points. Number one, you want to discourage and you hyper focus in on black men dealing with white women. That's number one. Number two, you want to discourage black people from having babies. So I just kind of find that strange
Well,
that a lot of your
wait,
talking points align with some alt-right type of sentiments. That's why
Mr.
I'm questioning, are you
Mr.
black?
Mr. DeSouza. I never said nothing about black. I'm discouraging black people from having kids. That's not true. I'm discouraging baby mama drama all
You
over the
just
place,
said it like
creating
10 minutes.
instability.
So
No,
you
no,
just
no,
said
Mr. Souls,
that
you
we should.
misunderstood.
Okay, well, clarify it, please.
I said there's a prevalence of just baby mama drama all over the place. Dudes having,
Mm-hmm.
3, 4 baby mamas, or women having a bunch of kids with multiple dudes. I'm saying it impedes wealth creation. That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? You have all these households where the kids ain't getting no guidance, or our resources are spread too thin. That's my point. I never
Okay,
said nothing
so let
about
me
I
ask you
don't want
this.
black.
So let me ask you
So
this. What is your
what's changed? What's
obsession
the
with
way that's
us
changed in
with
200
black
years?
men? With black men dating white women? What is your obsession with that? Because you seem
All right, all
to
right, all right.
hyper focus on that.
Okay, okay, all right. This is the problem I have with it. It's not just about dating them. Okay, I didn't fuck white women. Okay, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the promotion of a white woman as the alternative. If you happen to listen, if your life partner, somebody you meet, you happen to meet them, and y'all click on everything, and she's white. Okay, so be it. So be it. But no, your first option. You should try to find a black woman. That's all I'm
Why?
saying. Try to find
Why?
a black.
I hear you.
Why?
Well,
Why?
listen. We can agree to disagree. I'm pro
No, no,
black.
no, no. No. Why should we black women be our first option? I want to know your reason.
Because it's necessary to build Wakanda. Okay, it's necessary. Okay, that's your first order of business. Have a
Well,
black
what if I
woman.
want to
That's what
build
it is. If you can't find
Asgard?
that, okay. So
What if I want to build Asgard? Then
all right. Well,
what?
then you Uncle Tom. You Uncle Tom. You Uncle Tom to me. That's just what it is.
Why? Why
We
is
agree
that?
to
Why is
disagree.
that?
We can
Why is
agree to
that?
disagree.
No, no, no.
You
Why is
go.
that? No, no, no. You call him an Uncle Tom. Why is that?
He said he wants to build Asgard. What is
So why?
I
Asgard?
said,
So why
what
is it
if?
being an Uncle
What
Tom?
if?
What is?
Okay, that makes you Uncle Tom. We can agree to disagree. You know what I'm
Why?
saying?
Why is it making him Uncle Tom?
It's because you want to build Asgard. What is Asgard? Asgard is a Viking, Northern European place in Norse mythology. Okay,
Mm.
so that means you support white supremacy in some kind of way. That's how I look at that. You want to build Asgard, so go build Asgard. Okay.
You know what? That's an interesting thing you say, because I say all the time when it comes to the behavior of black women, they're basically white supremacists. They listen to white men. They have a problem with black men because of all the stuff that white men say. Why they listening to them instead of us?
No.
Well, I think that was Benjamin that was asking Tedros these questions, right? And so,
Mm-hmm.
um, you said something about, yo,
Lost track, huh?
I did kind of sort of because I'm trying to
Hey,
make sure I
left for
worded
breakfast.
correctly
Did
too.
that? Left for
Nah,
breakfast.
let it
Did
fly. Don't worry. Let it fly. Let it
Okay.
fly. Stop being politically correct. Let it fly.
Okay.
Stop with the bullshit. Come on.
I know, right? let me get real with y'all.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
So being that Tedros promotes black people being with black people,
Mm-hmm.
y'all sound like y'all had an issue because he's saying that black women should be a black man's first choice. And then he's
Absolutely.
saying,
no, that's
No,
not my issue.
we
That's
asked.
not my
let me
issue.
finish let me
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, nobody had an issue with
Nobody
that.
had an issue with that. No, we asked him
Okay,
what his
But
so
why
reasoning
he's
was
was.
that
saying that
question?
yeah, because when he said that white women shouldn't be promoted as a first choice, it was like, well, why not? Why shouldn't they be promoted
No,
as
we
a
No,
didn't
first
say that either.
choice?
We didn't say that
that's
either.
that's not what that's my point
No,
of
those
I
are
want you
women.
to
Those are
clarify
women.
that for me,
I'm
Benjamin.
about to clarify.
We
Because yes, this is
go,
me. She
go,
asked me to
Benji.
clarify. I said that
Okay,
because
go ahead.
he promotes black men getting with black women in concert with us staying away from white women and us tampering down our baby production. His whole
He
narrative
didn't say
sounds.
that.
I've been listening to him over the past couple of
Streams,
podcasts.
yeah. Well, I'll say what he said today, and from my understanding, because this is so we can make sure we're on the same
Had on
page.
Yeah.
here.
Okay. What it sounded like he said today, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
specifically talking about today, right now, it
Mm-hmm.
sounded like he's saying, okay, if you can't get a black woman, then okay, cool, but don't promote these women as the standard over a black woman. That's what it sounded like he said to me.
But
That's what I heard.
nobody had a problem with that part when he said that.
He said,
Nobody had a
It
problem.
sounded
Nobody had a
like
problem. Nobody had a problem. No, what the thing is, what I asked him
Can
why.
y'all hear me?
I asked him why because I want to hear what his reasoning was. That's why I asked him why. You took a stance. You didn't explain it. It's supposed to be just we just supposed to understand it. No,
No, I did.
we're having a discussion. Why do you hold that? Why do you hold that? Why do you hold that? Why do you hold
In
that
order to, in
idea?
order to build Wakanda, that's
Mhm.
necessary. We know that in order to build a nation, you got to marry with the people of that nation. That's just what it is. There ain't no way around that.
Well,
Okay.
Tedros, we accepted your answer. We accepted your answer. Nobody said nothing about your answer when you
Well, no,
explained it.
he said I didn't explain it. He said I didn't explain it.
You
No,
didn't. Yeah,
beforehand you didn't
you
explain
didn't
it. He
explain it.
asked you and then you did.
Well, that's my explanation. What I just said. In order to build a nation, yes, you want to build
We cool
Wakanda.
with
You
your
want to
explanation. We're cool
increase
with that.
black. No, you're not. No, y'all not cool with that. Y'all not cool with that.
How we not cool
How
with
we
it?
not cool with it?
Listen, y'all. Okay, maybe not you, but okay, a large segment of y'all's ideology, SYSBM. Sorry,
Benjamin,
You need to
you're
do more
boring.
study. You need to do more study, bro.
Mr. BGS.
Go ahead, Benjamin.
I didn't see. I've been on it. What's that?
I was trying to get Benjamin in. Benjamin, are you still here? Can you hear us?
Benjamin, you may want to bounce out and come in because I heard him trying to say something, but he really couldn't be heard.
Right. That's why it sounded like
Tweedros, let me ask you a question. So why are brothers going out of their way? If there's plenty of white women in the United States, why are they going out of their way to fly down to Colombia where there's black women, or fly to Africa where there's black women, or fly to Brazil where there's black women, or DR where there's black women? Why would they go out of their way to do that?
Hey, they like pussy. I like pussy too. You
No,
know
no,
what I'm
no. I
saying?
asked you a question, sir. I asked you a question. Do not white women don't have pussy?
Wait, say it. I don't really
If,
understand.
in other words, if SYSBM, the vast majority of them believe in flying to countries where there are black women to find black women, and there's plenty of white women, does it sound like they're promoting white women over black women?
No, not at all, not at all. And if
So
they're
in other
doing,
words, and that's the vast majority of them. So where do you get your ideology, sir? Because the thing is, you're saying a lot of stuff that's incorrect.
Okay, well, look.
Ain't no well look. You're saying stuff that's incorrect. I asked you a direct question. Okay.
All right, Mr. BGS. Mr. BGS.
No, hold on a second. Since you are so adamant, the SYSBM is
right.
no. Wait a minute. There's anti-black woman sentiment.
Sentiment, yes.
But you have no proof.
I got proof. All y'all conversations. Look,
No,
Mr.
wait a minute.
BGS.
All our conversations.
Well, let me ask
That's what's
BGS this
highlighted
question.
on social media.
Well, let me ask BGS this question.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that SYSBM would be considered against non-ADOS women for the most part? Because that's what it seems like to me.
Against them or against ADOS?
Well,
Wait, you mean
maybe I'm saying against may be the wrong word, but
you mean
they
against ADOS women?
yeah, it doesn't seem that ADOS women are the preference of
Right.
SYSBM.
Yeah,
Can I explain that?
they're not the preference of SYSBM, and there's a good they've actually enumerated in ad nauseum why they're not.
Okay.
And I have to say, BGS, when I was researching SYSBM, a lot of what is attached to the hashtag and attached to the title, it is the promotion of other races over black women. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do a lot of research on
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, so I can't say that. But I even saw an interview where Mad Bus Driver was interviewed, and kind of a lot of what he was saying was in line with what I was seeing throughout social media. It was just like pictures of black men with white women telling men if they want to be happy, get you one, and all this type of stuff. And it was a lot of that is being attached to.
He's married to married to an Asian.
And Concrete Rose, can I ask you something? And matter of fact, for you and Danielle,
Yeah.
let's just say, just for the sake of argument, that SYSBM was about getting white women.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my issue is even if that's what 100% of them said, that that's what they want. Why are black women not simply just saying to themselves or to each other that we can hear at any kind of real level? Why don't we just change our behavior so we can be what the men want? Why does it matter who they're going to chase other
Because
than?
let me answer that first.
One time.
Yeah, my point is, why does it matter who they chase other than you if no one's going to just change to be what they want?
Well, we do have conversations about women changing their behavior, but not every conversation that we have here is going to be attacking black women. We try to be fair and balanced. So we do have conversations saying, sisters have to wisen up, and they have, like, clearly the men are,
No, no, I
have
get that.
valid points.
I get that, but I'm asking a
Well,
specific question about if SYSBM was saying 100% go get white women, why would that even be a problem?
And it's a very small group. It's not like it's a
Because
large
I think
group.
it's dangerous to us as a people, and it threatens the
Why?
black community. It
It, it,
So,
threatens,
so
like,
what
it,
would the
any
okay,
proper
type
okay,
of
okay.
response
other
be?
black
If
community. But
SYSBM,
go ahead, I'll let Danielle answer, and then I'll answer your response.
SYSBM, I can tell you, at best has like 500 men. At best. At best.
okay, Roger, I want you to repeat your question one more time and I'm going to answer it.
My point, even if SYSBM was 100% pro, let's go get a white woman, even if there was
Uh huh.
100% pro that,
Hmm.
why is that an issue where women aren't just simply saying, let's just change our behavior so the men would want us? And why? Well, who cares what women they're chasing? Why is that even a concern? Why don't they just, hey, why don't we just change our behavior so they will want us? I don't see women
Okay.
saying that.
Okay. Now, this is why they won't change the behavior, or why they haven't changed the behavior at a fast rate.
But he's asking why
Generally,
we aren't pushing that. Like,
well, for the simple
why
fact that we're not
we
used,
aren't.
I can,
Go ahead, Sister George.
we're not changing the behavior because we're not seeing we're starting to see the men leave now, but we've never seen the men leave before like they are leaving now. So
Mm-hmm.
there's not really a reason to change the behavior because we're still thinking that it's some bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
um we're still saying these motherfuckers ain't going nowhere, they gonna still stay.
Mm-hmm.
They just want us to love on them a little bit more, but they ain't really go nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So then when you start to see the men, when there's a big percentage, like, okay, if we're saying 31% married outside of their race within the,
Those are top tier men, though.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
well,
And that's
31%
the
of top
bad
tier
part.
men,
Well,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's a big
Well,
deal.
why is that a bad part, Concrete Rose?
I
It's
mean,
a
if it
big
was the
deal
bottom of
because
the barrel, we need those men to rebuild our community. Like,
No,
we
you
need to
don't.
keep
No, you
those
don't.
men. Yes, we do.
Y'all told it.
Absolutely.
They told them those men to kick rocks.
No,
Can
I
I
wasn't
clarify a
part
few
of the
things
day,
about
but I'm
SYSBM?
telling brothers that we need our quality
Well, no,
thinking
that
top
was.
tier men
I was
in
just on
order
it.
to
I
rebuild
was
our
just looking at a
community.
stream the other day where they told SYSBM and them brothers are choosing out to kick rocks.
Let me clear up a few things about
Because
SYSBM.
they've made the choice already. Maybe
Okay,
they
well,
feel like there's no, I mean, they've already made their choice. But
well,
I don't want
they
more
don't,
men
they don't, they
being
don't, they don't need them.
affected by that
What you
by
really,
into.
Concrete Rose, what you're really afraid is that your boys are gonna date out, and that's really what it is. The boys are gonna choose others. That's the
Yeah,
fear. That's the fear. Oh, go ahead, bro. You said you wanted to
yeah.
clarify SYSBM.
Yeah. SYSBM, because a lot of people like to fixate on white women. I don't know
Yeah.
why some of these dudes got white women on the brain, but SYSBM is not about white women. It's not about other races of women, period. SYSBM is pro-patriarchy, anti-matriarchy. We are
yeah,
pro-patriarchal women, anti-matriarchal women. It just so happens to be that the majority of ADOS women are, in fact, matriarchal. Therefore, we're going to go somewhere else.
but
And
then why and I understand, I understand exactly what you're saying, but when it comes down to the promotion of SYSBM, other races of women are the face of SYSBM.
that's true. That's true. But
Well,
So you can't sit up here and say that people are lying on y'all when they say that SYSBM does promote other races of women,
well, they
because
can
that's the face of it.
they
you
can
know,
they can they can take it however they want to. You can
know
take it
what
I
they
however
do
you
do.
want
want to
to.
answer Roger's question.
I don't
You know
care if you
what? You know
take
why
it
they
that way.
do that, Sister George. You know why they do that?
Why?
Because they know if they put a white woman up there, you guys will actually lose your freaking minds.
That's
Mm,
facts, but then this is the question that I would ask to them though.
Uh-huh.
This is the question that I would ask to
Hmm.
them. If it's not a nanny boo boo, look,
Hmm.
bitch, we got these white girls on our
Hmm.
team.
right.
What
Yeah,
y'all gonna do?
yeah.
Um, like, why is that a thing?
Well,
Because this is my point.
uh-huh.
If I'm deciding that I'm going to build with another race of men, I'm leaving the community, I'm leaving the black community as we know it, I'm
Uh-huh.
going to build with another race of man, and let's just say that black men weren't shit at some point to me, right?
Okay.
Is it a necessary thing that I say, ha ha ha, nigga, I done
No,
got me a white boy now.
no,
Right. Like
no.
So
that's how
Eh, eh,
SKC
eh,
does.
that's not the let's put it this way. That is not the ice cream, but that is what they call the cherry on top.
Oh
But we do
so
know,
wow.
but y'all do realize the whole swirling thing, the
Yeah,
whole swirling movement was about that. The whole thing about swirling was about that. Swirling specifically meant a black woman who got a white man, and they wanted to parade that fact. That was the whole swirling movement was
yeah,
Facts.
built on.
yeah.
Yep.
Facts. Facts.
but if y'all had did it at more way more at a totally different rate than black women, we don't even think we had the option, to be honest. So when a black woman does go swirling or whatever, yeah, she's probably gonna say it a little bit louder than y'all, because we don't even have the same options when it comes down to dating outside of our race. Not
But
like
Okay.
but
black
none of
Can I
that.
men.
tell you a quick
I have a
story real
question.
quick? A quick
One time.
a swirling
Can I
story.
can I say something real
One
quick?
at a
And I'm
time.
about to.
Somebody was trying to get in before you, bro.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Hey,
my
Seventh
bad.
Project, how you
Go
doing?
ahead.
How y'all doing, everybody on the panel?
Hello.
Hold on. I guess my question is: haven't black women been saying it louder for a very long time?
Not as loud as black
Not
men, in
to the
my
degree.
opinion.
Oh, contreras.
It's much
Oh,
smaller
contreras.
numbers. Black I
Oh,
mean
Dude,
black
contreras.
women aren't dating
say
out at the
I
numbers
agree,
that black
concrete.
men are.
Oh, and
I said
they've been
we're
saying that since
dating
the
it out
'80s.
at smaller numbers.
I just wanted to be sure.
No, they've been saying it in the '80s. Oprah
We've
said.
been saying it, but our voices aren't as loud as black men who
Right.
are
Why
dating
not?
Y'all
outside,
mind if I
because
ask
we
a
don't
different
have
Why?
as
question?
many. We don't even, because we don't have the option.
You know
The
what? I'm
option
Really?
gonna
isn't
be
the same for
honest.
black
I'm gonna
women.
tell you why.
Y'all
And
have
it's
national platforms that
but
actually
you know
say
what,
this.
BGS? I'm gonna
Yes,
tell
sir.
you why.
Yes, ma'am.
It's
Okay.
because men aren't as reactive as women are. So even the women that are saying na 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 na, black men are like, so black
Yeah.
sisters are like, where y'all think y'all going?
So you want us to meet you into your realm? Is that what you're
No,
saying? I just want to confirm.
I'm giving you an honest answer. That's not what I want you all to do. I'm just giving you a truthful
Okay.
answer in regards to why
Hmm.
Well, I'm
you know,
glad you.
this
I'm
is
glad you at least see that. And yeah, but my thing is at the end of the day, because I understand people gonna focus on the white women part. At the end of the day, it does not matter who men choose if they didn't choose you. I'm gonna tell you right now. You know what I'm saying? Even with my crew, the habitual line set, because I did a show on SYSBM, and I literally named it a patriarchal response to matriarchy, because I seen what it was about. And that's all it really is, a bunch of patriarchal men that's going to have patriarchy whether women like it or not. That's what they're going to do. They're not asking permission, they're
that's
just doing it.
interesting.
And at the end of the day, and until they black women's behavior change from a general level, they're not going to get picked. Like I say, I'm a person. I work. I do what I'm supposed to do. I'm still not gonna take my money and give it to a black woman if she gonna give me problems. Because I feel that I'm a good enough person. God didn't put me here to take abuse, and I'm not gonna pay somebody to give me abuse. Because I'm the man. I'm supposed to be the leader, the protector, and the provider. Why would I provide for someone who ain't gonna treat me well? Period.
Wow.
You know what? I think
Amen.
Good
Danielle had
question.
a very
Amen,
good
brother.
point.
Hmm.
Danielle had a very good point when she said that black women, I think that it's gonna take mass numbers. It's gonna take like over 50% of our men dating out and deciding to walk away before the masses of black women will stop and pay attention. Black women are hard head. I think even
Hmm.
our
Yep.
voices, we can reach so many people, but for the most part, black women are rolling their eyes like whatever. They
Yeah.
ain't, they're not trying to hear it.
They ain't going no damn where.
Right.
These niggas
They're
No,
not
ain't gonna do
but
shit.
Can I
but they
They
respond to
already
that?
always
left.
Can I
talking
respond
shit.
to that? Can I
Well,
respond to that?
it's a small percentage of men that have
two, two,
already
two,
left,
two
but it's
years.
increasing.
No,
Two
no, no.
years,
Let
I
me let me
guarantee
let
you.
me, let me
Two
build on that.
years, 2 years. They are black one already changing their tune as we speak. In 2 years, we're going to see a completely different dynamic. The thing is, it's not will black women change. It's the thing is, can they change? They haven't
I
proven
got
that they
I
can.
got a story. I got a story about all of these. You're gonna breed yourself
You're Borgen.
out.
Your phone. Their phone is
Fear
Borgen.
Benjamin,
monster.
you got
Let me
that
break
white
down.
woman wireless.
Nah.
The white woman wireless actually works.
Wireless. Can y'all hear me now?
The black woman wireless, it don't work.
Right. Look.
Oh wow,
Sound
BGS.
Woo.
But no, real quick, because I'm driving through. I'm on I-15, man, on my way to LA right now.
Oh,
But
okay. Oh,
yeah, I'm in
okay.
Victorville right now.
Man, I hey,
I'm on my way to
Oh, you coming from Vegas?
Valley.
You coming from Vegas?
But yeah, I'm working genealogy, right? Hold on real quick.
Okay. Yeah, you right through that pass. It's gonna be rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, you struggling.
Yeah.
But yeah, though, quick breakdown of my genealogy. My great grandmother is full blooded Portuguese from South America. She had
Okay.
one daughter. She got knocked up by a black man. My great grandfather, or my great grandfather, I should say. My grandmother married a dark skinned coolie man. Had my father. My father came up here to the States, married my ADOS mother, had me. Now, if you went back on my mom's side, my father's matrilineal side, you would see a pale Portuguese woman. And now, as I stand today, I'm not dark skinned, but I'm medium complexion. I look like a black man. I'm essentially a black man. So, if you're gonna date out, there is a good chance that your genes could go one way, or your genes could go another way, or your genes
Mm.
could go a completely third different direction. But just to hold the genetics hostage and say you gotta deal with this if you wanna save the race, you gotta deal with all of this dysfunction. That's I'm not gonna sign up for that deal.
Because it's not true, because the half of the genealogy of what we call ADOS people, it comes from white slave masters, because what the black women brought here to actually be concubines for the slave master to produce children,
Well,
and some of them
I
were
got
some of them were white that
I got a
sired
different take
children,
on
and
that.
well, you can have a different take on it. Go back and prove it, bro. You can have a take on it if you want to. Go back and prove it. You can go look at the movie Goodbye Uncle Sam, where they actually showed the slave farms, okay, where they actually
Well, I'm
sired
not I'm
children.
not coming from it from I'm not coming from it from a transatlantic slave type of deal. I'm coming from it from a aboriginal, and they chose to date. They chose to mate with white men. I'm not coming
And
from it from a standpoint that we came over here on slave ships.
well,
That to
that's
me
another.
is
That's and what I'm saying is, when if we're Aboriginal folks, when you come up with the evidence, unrefutable evidence presented, which you haven't.
Well, let me say this
hold on,
real quick because
real quick.
oh, go ahead, go ahead.
12 million Africans brought over here in a 250 year
Uh
span,
huh.
and it takes
Uh
four
huh.
to 6 months by sailboat to come over here. That
Uh
breaks
huh.
down to probably about 150 to 200 Africans brought over here a day.
Mm-hmm.
You mean to
Mm-hmm.
tell me that's feasible by sailboats?
Okay. Let me get. Do you know anything about fertility rates and demographics?
Okay.
Do you know anything about that?
No, I asked you about the
No, no,
possibility
no, no.
of
That's
actually
okay. You
transporting
can basically.
millions of
Okay.
slaves across the rocky Atlantic by sailboat in a
Okay.
250 year
In
span.
other words, do you understand about population growth? Do you understand anything about that? I want to make sure that you don't before I tell you about it.
No,
Okay.
go ahead. Go.
In,
I got my
in other
pen and
words,
paper out.
in other words, if you go back and look at the census reports, right? In 1780, which was the last British census that they took, there were 400,000 Africans. Okay, 400 when they were ending the slave trade, 400,000 Africans, right? Black people. By 1860,
Allegedly.
by 1860, the next census before the Civil War, there were 4 million. Okay, what does that tell you? You had a population growth because your fertility rate was 12. Or the average fertility rate of a female slave was 12. Do the numbers over like 5 or 6 generations. Do the numbers. You had a tenfold increase because they sired these people into being into the slave class. They weren't brought here; they were born here.
Okay, so let me
Go
ask
back
you
and look at your
this.
census.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
At the time before
Mm-hmm.
the Spanish conquistadors came over here, there were a bunch of wars
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
the antiquity of British fighting the French and the French fighting the Spanish, et cetera, et cetera. England already had a lower class of people, so why would they? If they were already strapped for money, why would they spend an exorbitant amount of money to go all the way to Africa, capture Africans, and bring them over here? Why wouldn't they just use their own lower class rung people called indentured servants? And if and if
Okay. Go
and
ahead. Go
if
ahead.
and then on top of
Mm-hmm.
that, if you wanted
Uh-huh.
to use an enslaved class, why not just use the indigenous peoples here? What you mean?
there's
You
two.
mean? Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, keep talking. It's a very simple reason, and in fact, they actually explain it if you read the literature. It's because of the heat and the work they died. They killed off. If you look when they initially came here, they killed off most of the indigenous people because of work. So they had to go get a hardier breed of people to actually withstand the heat, diseases, and work. That's why. Real simple.
Okay.
The vast majority of indigenous people that were here died off because of European diseases. All right,
We
Africans, since they
still
had,
here, man.
huh?
We still here. We still here, man.
That's what you're saying. Okay, go back and read the literature and prove it. Okay.
Now, my grandmother told me we were Choctaw
And no,
Indians from the Mississippi Delta. You
yeah, but
calling my grandmother a liar?
no,
Oh, shout out to you.
and what I'm saying is, okay, what I'm saying
See, thank you, George. You know
is,
what time it is.
the thing is that guess what happened? Indians, Native Americans owned slaves too, and they married in.
That's true.
Go look at the dog road. In fact, I had a girlfriend. I forget what she is. Right? Her basically her mother, her grandmother, and both her grandmother and her grandfather were Dawes Indians from Oklahoma. Okay, they were
Okay,
married
so
in.
please, oh, okay, okay. So
Hold
explain.
on a second. Hold on a second, because you don't know. Go back and look at the Dawes rolls and the $5 Indians that Carl Anderson actually talked about, right? They tried to get black folks like you paid because
No,
because
they did.
because
White folks
no
did that.
no
White
no
folks
no
did
no
that.
no 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 they tried a lawsuit just recently to get you paid because of the civilized tribes, the Native Americans owned slaves and and indoctrinated you guys into their families, okay?
Well, I represent
And
the savages, the ones that didn't sign the treaty.
it doesn't matter the thing is that you guys included these people into your being, and they included you people into your tribe, okay? They
Okay, so
mixed.
explain this. Explain this. Explain
Mhm.
why the oldest skeleton that was found here in the Americas is of Negroid stock. Lucia,
because
that
be-
was found down
because
in
because
Brazil.
because the whole world was Negroid stock. But thing is,
So
those
what
Negro
happened to all those
it,
Negro
it's
people
it's
who were here first
it's
in
it's
this in
called
this hemisphere?
it's
What happened to them?
it's called evolution. You change,
So they
okay?
just died off.
No,
They
you
they changed.
change.
They changed
And,
into
and,
Mongoloid
how,
people over
how,
time. Is that what you're telling me?
exactly? Look at Asia.
Oh, okay.
Look at Asia.
Okay.
Look at Asia.
All right,
That,
man.
well,
This
well,
is
we
this is
have
evolution.
to.
Okay,
It's called
okay.
evolution.
You got it.
Can I edit?
You got it,
I
man.
hate to break
Go
it
ahead and
up,
look.
but
No,
we're
go ahead and
gonna
look.
have to wrap it up.
No, we
Okay.
just can agree to
We're gonna have to
disagree.
wrap
But
up
go
the show.
ahead.
No, ain't no go get your facts and prove it.
You
Go
Okay, can I
heard
line up.
that,
can I
All right,
interject
man.
Damon.
That's
something?
all it is. It's all you
All
All
got
right,
to
right,
man.
do.
look.
What was that,
Okay,
Roger?
I'm gonna
I see you back
I
in
want
the motherland, BGS.
Huh?
I see you
Hey,
back in the motherland.
if I get my grandson situated, if I get my grandson situated, I have a whole crew of people in Ghana waiting for me. All right, a whole crew waiting on me right now. Say you need to be over here, bro. Exactly.
well, I wanted to say that
Go ahead, Roger.
because I got to get my show started. I told Daniel yesterday I was gonna try to wait for y'all to be over before I did, man.
Yeah,
But
we wrapping up.
a black woman just hit me up, so she want me to come through and see her tonight. So I got to go
You
and get my
going,
show
ain't
going.
you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
you
my
Yeah,
going.
yeah. Okay. Well, no show.
You
There ain't
know
no
what?
She
show.
wasn't lying
Don't
to
be
you.
making no
Put on
damn
her
single
head.
mothers.
Candy,
Put your
Candy
foot on her head,
Grandfamongo.
man. You
I
know
hope
they
it's
like
one
that
that you
shit.
gonna
Why would
like.
you
Candy,
say
Candy,
that?
I
Candy
hope it's one
Grandfamongo.
you
Hey,
gonna like.
Oh my
hey,
god.
hey, hey. She black, right? She ain't Mexican. She qualified. Anyway, but at,
Man, I
uh,
hope she get pregnant tonight too.
that ain't about to happen.
Oh, ain't that, you ain't shit. You ain't shit, girl. You are not
That ain't about to
shit.
happen.
BGS,
But
BGS, it wouldn't be the first time I'd have heard it.
okay, but what I'm gonna say is now y'all, if y'all want to come over to my stream, of course y'all can,
Yeah.
because it's definitely gonna be dealing with black women tonight. That's gonna be specific. But
Oh,
at the end of the day,
how you gonna do the stream and you got a little cookie coming through,
It
man?
no,
might
that's gonna be
it's gonna
later.
be a quick
That's
Oh,
gonna
all
be
one.
later,
Ah,
bro.
cookie.
right.
Yeah,
That little
I keep
cookie
my
coming
stuff in the
through.
late nights.
Oh, all right,
I
all right, all right.
Yeah, I keep my
Midnight
stuff in the late
creeper.
night.
Hey, midnight creeper.
Yeah,
So is she a
yeah.
hoe? Is she a
No,
hoe?
Uh-oh.
What
no.
she is available
He
for
said
me. That's
the
what she
So is
is.
she a
majority of
Hey,
hoe?
black
no,
You
majority of
said
black
the
women
majority
are
of black
hoes.
women. Is she
Wait,
a
wait, wait,
hoe?
Roger,
hey,
Roger, I
hey,
got a question.
hey, Sister George, you know what she is? She's
Who's
at
she?
92 that won't claim him. All right, so she gonna hit him up at midnight. He's a 12 to 5 Negro. Okay.
Oh wow.
Oh.
Hey, there you go. There you go. I'm gonna let that stand because I ain't gonna even explain it. I'm gonna let that stand. Uh,
Hope the condom don't
but
break.
No, no, ain't no
it
baby.
ain't.
She's on birth control.
It
She ain't gonna
ain't.
have no baby by him. No, don't worry about that.
Yeah. I ain't worried about that part at all.
Ain't no
But what I
having a
was
Give
baby
him
by
a
Ain't
me
no
being a
have
big
that.
hug.
No.
millionaire.
At least she had to claim him. Yeah.
yeah,
So now I had to take care of this Negro.
yeah.
My
That's not
baby
my
daddy.
situation tonight.
I can see that.
Be
But I was gonna
careful,
say,
friend.
What's your final words, Roger?
Who that
yeah.
is?
What I was going, what I was gonna try to say that because people have this perception, because Danielle, you made a good point. Black women don't believe it's happening.
No.
Right.
And when I did my stream, I just took a look at the habitual line steppers. We got Kev, one habitual line stepper married to a sister who I'm pretty sure is ADOS, even though I ain't never asked him specifically, but I'm pretty sure she's ADOS. We got another habitual line stepper, Donnie. He married a non-ADOS.
She's
Okay, we got
BDOS.
me. Okay, but she's not ADOS.
Yeah,
That's the whole
right,
thing.
right. Yeah.
And myself, I choose to stay
So
single
she
until
was
I
not.
found whatever she is. She ain't ADOS. That I'm sure
Okay,
of. I'm
go
absolutely
ahead.
Wait, the
sure of
woman
that.
that you about to have sex with tonight ain't ADOS?
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure she is. I'm pretty sure she is.
Oh,
You don't
okay.
care. You don't care.
But at the end of the day, I'm choosing to stay single until I find someone I feel is worth marriage for a lifetime. Because you can't. I'm not gonna do no. We gonna get married for 5 years, then we gonna break up. Because
You don't
there's
got
no
that
point in
much
that for me.
longer.
You
You
can't. Never
45.
mind.
I don't care how much time I got. At the end of the day, I'd rather die alone than get in a bad
Damn.
marriage.
Ooh,
Period.
that's
I'm
bad.
just
That's
saying.
even worse, man. Good grief. That's even worse.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
don't
mean,
be
I'm
like,
not getting into a bad marriage, but
no.
that's just what it is. But my point is, if this has happened, if the habitual line steppers, we just us, we didn't know nothing about no ADS moving, but people can say they ADOS based on behavior. So when Danielle said that black women don't understand that black men are already gone, sounds like to me they are, because if we, like I said, when you start looking at marriage rates and what's going on with people, the men already done packed up and start moving on to different pastures. And
Mhm.
there's some men, even though they're not gonna say, "Well, I'm going overseas to get somebody," we're still not gonna be in no committed relationship with you anyway. It ain't happening. That's not what we want, and nobody can force us into it. So at the end of the day, whether you believe it or not, most of us are already gone. At this, it's time to start trying to get us back.
I want to make a
Most.
special announcement for next week's show. We're gonna start teaching voodoo lessons. These niggas ain't going nowhere. What's up? Anyway.
Listen, you know what, Roger? Roger, I think that you said something like most of them are packing up. I think that really what's going to be left is a lot of low level guys, and that's women will have to basically dig in the trash in order to get a black man.
With the Latinos are sweeping up on them. That's the white
Oh
women hitting at
gosh,
the top, but the Latinos hitting them at the bottom.
wow,
Well, I mean, my thing at the end of the day, that's all gonna be a woman's problem. It's not gonna be
yeah,
the man's problem.
Yeah.
that's true,
In
but
other words, instead of Big Daddy, it's gonna be Poppy.
I want to say this,
Poppy's gonna be
Roger,
the new
before you
word.
leave.
Papi
Roger,
Chulo.
before you check out, I
I'm
just
waiting
want
on
to
you.
tell you, you were hard
Hmm.
on the black women. You were hard on the sisters tonight.
Was he?
If
Don't
Yes,
worry,
every
Roger.
person,
I'm gonna bring that same
hold,
energy over to you.
hold
Don't
on.
worry.
please do,
Oh, that's
Danny.
fine. That's fine. But I'm gonna say this real quick. Every woman that loves her father, he was hard too.
Mm.
Child, please. He got a damn kid.
You didn't have me for
Anyway,
a father.
I can tell
thank
you
you,
Jeffrey hard.
Roger. We'll see you on your show in a little bit. Well, I'll see you on your show in a little
Yeah,
bit.
I'm gonna stop there.
Okay.
All right. The seventh project. What do you have, bro?
Last word, 7 Project.
Seven projects says shit. They ain't talked to me in this damn long.
Mm.
All right. Chaos. What's up, man? Because you've been back been real patient with us. What you got?
Chaos.
Chaos.
Mute.
Chaos always do that and then don't be saying nothing.
Okay.
All right. Benjamin, do you have any final words?
Yes, I do. Shape up, ladies. Get your shit together because we're not playing. You know,
Yeah,
we're
he
not
sounds
gonna.
serious as
We're not
hell
gonna.
too.
Yeah, yeah, I am. I am. We're not gonna engage in this whole royal rumble of struggle love anymore. It's not happening.
Wow.
And and for the people talking about, man, we're gonna breed ourselves out, man. Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. We'll be here until Jesus come back.
So you
Oh,
say.
okay, here
Y'all
we go.
keep going to the other side, and we gonna see.
And hey,
Oh,
hey, BGS, let me know when you touch down in Africa, man. Holla
Okay.
at me.
Huh? Yeah, well, I supposed to been gone, man. The thing is, I have my grandson and these knucklehead grandkids, so that's the only reason I ain't gone. Cause I supposed to have been gone. They got people waiting on me.
I don't know what the heck just happened to Benjamin,
You
but
know he's
BGS.
driving. It probably was
Yeah.
while he was driving.
When I say he dropped completely, he's gone.
Yeah, he's
BGS,
struggling.
do you have any final words?
This is hilarious to me.
Oh,
It's hilarious
Why?
because nobody because I remember like 3 years ago I said they're not gonna come back to the table. They're not gonna talk to us. They're gonna stay on the other side of the fence. I said no, they're not. I said they'll be when they start seeing that they need us and things get critical. They'll be over here. They'll talk
Yeah.
to us. Yeah, this is the negotiation phase. They think the war
you
is still
know
going
what,
on. There is
BGS?
no war going on. Go ahead.
The women who understand what is happening and the
Hmm.
women who have been submissive and who still rest in their feminine energy and stuff, we're the ones who are taking it the worst. It's like the other
Why?
women
Yeah.
seem unfazed.
No, they're
Because they
phased.
don't.
Oh, they're phased. They don't speak on it. You guys,
You know what?
but you guys
I
have men though. You might not get
Yeah.
the exact men that
I
you
know,
want,
but I'm still
but you
I'm
guys have
sad
men.
about, like, I'm
I not
still
have a
fighting
man.
tooth and nail because even though I have a man and
Hmm.
I'm engaged and I'm still fighting tooth and nail for our brothers not to leave.
Okay. Well, the thing is, that the issue is not really with the brothers that are like say over 30. Okay, they've been pretty much for the most part they've been pretty much indoctrinized,
Mhm.
indoctrinated. So they're gonna some of them gonna leave, but I wouldn't say it wouldn't be in mass numbers. The problem is not going to be them. The problem is the 25 and unders.
And that's even
Yeah.
scarier because what's going to happen to the generations that come after them?
Oh yeah, basically, yeah. In my opinion, they some black pill. They say I've been saying it's probably over, but I think I still hold out hope for you guys. I hope you guys pull it off. And like what is it like do a LeBron James in Game 4 and come back and win the championship? I'm hoping that
I hope so too.
hope the black one turn into LeBron James and just take over the series when it looks like it's going to go under. Okay, that's what I'm hoping
Oh
for. But the thing
God.
is, I don't. You guys not acting like LeBron James. Okay, you're not acting like you guys really. You got
We
a
shack
lot.
at the free throw line.
What's happening? What I'm hearing is the exact opposite. Okay, I said you don't want them to leave, but the thing is, you want to kick them and spit on them and call them names and stuff like that. I said you guys are doing the exact opposite. I said it's probably over. You know,
Mm.
playbook doesn't change. So what are we gonna do since they're leaving? Are we gonna talk about them even worse? We're gonna call them dusty and broke and ineffectual and
Oh
powerless.
God.
Yeah. And I said,
Don't get me started on your home
oh,
girl.
that's not coming. That's something that got upset. I said the thing is that I said it's fine if you just said that they're dominated, they're dusty, they're broke, they're no good, all this kind of stuff. But you expect them to stay with you, really? I said, how much sense does that make? I'm gonna talk about them. I'm gonna disparage them even more, and they're supposed to stay with me. I said, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought that was real interesting, but it's the point of I don't disagree with a lot of her points about black women and black men because I do think she does bring up good points on both sides.
Mhm.
But where in history's hell would men ever want to be referred to as a bag? Period, point blank. Men aren't gonna like that. Men aren't gonna
Right.
take that lightly. And I just didn't think that was the best move on her end. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, well, they found their hill to die on.
Yeah.
We all got to pick them.
Yeah,
But
that's
but
true.
but I said it's the messenger is the bad is the you kill the messenger.
Mhm.
Right,
Okay.
right, right,
Anyway,
right.
that's all I got, you guys.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, BGS. We really appreciate your
Oh,
support.
we do.
One day you guys gonna send me a link. We don't. No, don't bring him up here.
Ah,
Don't bring him up here.
no, I'll be
Oh,
with it.
please.
I'll be with
You
it.
know
You
you
know,
always
we love a truth. We love a
you're
truth.
always
I
welcome.
do. Yeah. Leo Anthony, what's up, bro? What's your final thoughts?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, I mean, y'all all over the place again. Um, Really, I think like if black women want men to like not leave in droves, then they have to understand that we don't hate them. We just hate their behavior, and they need to change their behavior. I don't think shaming black men into staying with them is going to work. So I think like conversations like these are pretty good because we get to hear each other's opinions and views. And I think this is like the first time y'all got to hear us vocalize all our issues and gripes with black women. So I hope with that, like they can understand and try to pretty much change their behavior if it's kind of like toxic and not what black men say they want. So, you know, it would be more appealing for men to stay in the community with black women. Oh, and hoes don't be winning in the long run. They don't. And stop. Y'all
No.
need to stop believing in that because they
Mm,
don't. That my point is that they don't stay married. They don't stay with a man. They can't keep a man. They get divorced and dumped the most. What will help you keep a man in the long run is your femininity. Don't
Mhm.
underestimate the power of femininity.
thank
Okay.
you. Good stuff.
That was a fair point. Fair point. All right, Concrete, what do you have? What's your final thoughts on
Um,
this?
this was a very good show as always. Thank you to all of our panelists who came up and joined in, even the Roger report. Even though it was super triggering tonight, but thank you all so much for chiming in. Definitely good conversation, good topic. We may not always agree, but it's good to be able to hear each other out. And I think that ultimately I hear what the brothers are saying. I don't think that black women appear to be taking heed. I don't know if internally they do realize what's happening, but they have too much pride and too much ego for them to admit it and to also make changes to their behavior and their character and to work on themselves. But I feel like we're kind of getting to the point that we're going to be in dire straits, and I fear what's going to happen to our community. Like, that is my biggest concern. I'm engaged.
Right.
I am concerned though for my future generations. I'm concerned for my daughters and their children and their children's children. I want there to be a black community for them to thrive in, for them to marry into the black community and build with someone that looks like them. And I have my fingers crossed that we can get this thing together. But good topic, good topic, good topic.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Um, Hopefully we will get it together, but we do still want this space to be a space to where the conversation is welcome and we can actually have the conversations to maybe try to mend fences and mend bridges between us. But we're gonna try. We really thank you guys for joining us, for giving us your time. Hopefully you guys will join us Wednesday. We don't know what the topic will be just yet, but it should be a good one. It'll probably be a good one.
I'm certain it will be.
Yeah. So we thank you guys for joining us. Hopefully you guys have a great start to next week and be safe. We'll see you guys Wednesday. Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Peace.